Find another car.
It's just a back marker that's in the way. He's pulling over to the side as well. And Vasquez just a little bit earlier on the move, as we have now switched over to part 3. So welcome back, everyone. Take a few moments for everyone to swap over, but we are here with the third part and the final part of the 24-hour action. 3 hours and 10 minutes to go, as we're looking at the 224 car currently pulling away from the 718. That's got a back marker in between as they're heading up the hill in the clean air and taken to its advantage. And while this all has been happening, this fight that we're looking at right now, perfect timing on the camera operations. The 76 is chasing down the 39 car, the gap within 2 seconds, and has been for a while. But the SimRC team doing a great job of holding on to P3 and closing in on that P2. And like we said before, some teams will be settling for a certain position. Unsure if the 39 car will be settling for P2. They still have 3 hours to go and just over 30 seconds, which means 10 seconds an hour, 20 laps per hour. We're going to have about half a second of time to be gained every single lap. So that's still pretty doable if you have a very fast driver on your hands that can do these low 16s that we have seen quite often already. The 258 car is going to be dipping down the order with some lower speeds, possibly. So they might be going for that still. But the 76 is going to be real close and wants to pinch that second position away from the 39 car and probably look for that podium position just one step higher than they're currently at.
I mean, look at this as well. You had a back marker that actually got quite in the way of Walsingham in the 39. I was able to reel Kevin Braun in by about half a second, and this is what we were saying about bad encounters. Having a bad encounter at a bad time with a back marker, a blue flagged car, can be very detrimental to your racing efforts. So now it's going to be a bit of a drag race. Braun has got some time to make up. Walsingham's taken over with the number 39 from Chardier, and now is going to be holding the torch. Whether that's to the end or not, we will find out. But Braun is going to have a target ahead of him. He's going to have a little bit of assistance, I think, from the track around him. But now it's going to be just that final fight of attrition. I would not be surprised if we see these two come to blows in the next few laps.
And I think with only 3 hours remaining, we're going to have 4 more stints. So that's 4 more stops after this stint that they're currently in. And Braun really reeling in that car currently almost within that second, seemingly getting some more speed as we're looking at them fight, or at least fight the track, fight the car around the track to gain that time, as they're not close enough for an actual fight just yet. Only 4 more stints to go in the next 3 hours. It's as much as they'll need, so we're going to see a few more stops come in as well. And the top positions should be the net positions, as you see the 300 car being overtaken by the 697 from Winkler. It's getting past on the start-finish straight as they're heading on up the hill. The gap quite substantial already in terms of track space. Some more cars in the pits now. Obviously, like we said, we see some cars come in every few seconds, every few laps. We're going to have a few cars in, and that is going to be the case until the end. But it looks like the top drivers, the top teams, are going to be pitting around the same lap. We saw them be offset by about 2 laps that we saw with Brown and car currently in second place. I saw them just hovering around the same amount of laps that they can. As see the number 11 car get a little bit of a squeeze with the leading car, one of the leading cars. I believe this is the car in P20. Or was that P20 or somewhere along the lines of it? It's Lamborghini. So yeah, the leading driver in the amateur class currently in P34. That's a great spot to be in, especially considering we had 79 cars at the start, of which we had, I believe, 20 pro cars, 30 silver class and 30 amateur class cars So being P34 in an amateur car is quite the feat of strength. Quite a good job.
Solid job across the board as they enter with the number 11 BMW leading for the rookie group. Then you have Jens Liebau in the turn 1 100, BMW in second, and then Max Verstappen, no relation, in the 489 BMW in third positions. We had Hans Lou just taking over from the 31 BMW, previously Max Mustermann, and then moving our way up to the top is Andre Hipalf in the 258 Vantage for LFM Esports, looking like a rocket ship, absolutely untouched by about 30 seconds, although the gap has shrunken ever so slightly as Aidan Walsingham pilots the 39 for the Jardiere community team, 39 Vantage. Kevin Braun is within a second, or at least teetering on that edge there. That's the number 76, and then on the silver, it's Lucas Lucassen in the, or Linus Lucassen in the Madcap Racing Bentley. And Christian Voss in the Firefly E-Racing Bentley as well. A little bit further behind. You know, Sancho Vasilevsky's in the number 3 pot for the silvers, and that is for GMR Motorsport, and that is your balance for the time being.
Can we have a quick look at the leading car? Because I saw something interesting in the lap times that we saw from the 258 car. If you look at the bottom right of your screen, Hipalf has done a 217.5, 217.2, and 217.5, again identical to the 2 laps before, which is quite a good job already. But he's been doing mid to low 217s. And if we head over to the car behind, to the number 39 car, we see that their lap times are faster, they're lower. We see, again, those low 17s, but we also see the mid to high 16s coming in from the 39 car. If we take one step further down, we see Braun a little bit dropped back from maybe a mistake in the 76 car. They're doing 2-minute 16s as well. So P2 and P3 are currently on faster pace than the leaders are doing. So it's going to be quite some battles still, and we might even see, like you said, that 35-second gap is lowering already. You might even see it lowered even more. And then maybe, just maybe, we're going to make some wishes come true, because Christian has already said we need to fight for the win. And of course, with the 255 car having some issues and then falling out later on, we have had to change for the win, but not due to a fight, it's due to technical issues. We might, maybe, in the next 3 hours, see a fight for the lead, and that would be one amazing thing, as we do see some cars fighting along. The 277 car being dropped back, or the 777 car being dropped back and then getting an overtake done right afterwards, and the 256 Ford being dropped a little bit further back and stuck in P20 again.
Yeah, there was going to be a double overtake on Vladihar in the Lamborghini just there, but no way, with either a bit of contact or a little bit of a slide, did lose the rear, did lose that time, and is now being cut off from the other two thanks to another car. I believe that is the number 69 Lexus there. Sebastian Vahl managed to get across with relatively no issue in the Dynamic Motorsports Vantage, the number 112. Was able to get past with minimal troubles and is now going to be able to peel a bit of a gap, but is not going to be doing so easily because there are a lot of cars around him.
And this is one of the things that I'm very happy to see. These are 3 cars that are all within, I think, about 3 seconds of each other, almost within 2 seconds of each other, and 4 cars within 5 seconds. And what are we, 21 hours in? And they're still this close to each other in the final stages of the race. And of course, they haven't been this close throughout the entire race. But I've done some calculations on previous races that I've personally done, or that my team that I was part of at the time has done, that when you're within a second, or within 5 seconds even, on the final lap of a 24-hour race, we currently have 430 laps under our belt. If you take just a 1 second gap, you divide that by 400, you're going to have a few milliseconds on average lap time that the difference is between the two. And it's not always in consistency or you know, pit stop times and stuff like that can all differ. But it's just a few milliseconds on average time that differs between the cars that are currently separated by about a second. And about a second is in between Frank and Vasquez Rodriguez. It's even less so. It was a small look by the Porsche on the inside into Le Combe once again. That's not something that you want to see, as we do have a yellow flag for not one but two cars on the uphill. And we see on the timing tower there's a few cars that are indeed causing some yellow flags. One of them has gone back to the pits. It appears to be the 777 car that we were following. It might have been an incident on Eau Rouge and Radion.
Yeah, a bit of a yellow flag coming out there. I think that is just, again, sort of pits. Not really seeing much in variance across the board. We are still some cars going into the pits now. Vladdy Hart, Dominic Cypress, Lucas Freund in the 777, 176 and 257 cars all into the pit lane now, as well as Niels Bunch in the number 24 STR car. So few drivers going in. We are going to the final 3 hours now, so it will start to become a bit of a time crunch. We've still, relatively speaking, got a lot of time, but in perspective of this race, when we are already coming up to 450 laps deep, and most likely will be easily crossing the 500 mark by the time we get to the end of the session, it will be a case of understanding where you are and already making those judgment calls about where you want to finish. More now than ever.
I think the 718 team Nitro car will definitely not want to settle for now. They're still within good reach of the competitors ahead. The 234 car. You do see the 76 being dropped back a tiny bit. The gap increasing to over 3 seconds now to the 39 car. So they might be in a little bit of a slower spot in their pace at the moment. But the 39 car has gained another 2 seconds on the 258 car that's currently leading the race. So it's far from over in terms of settling for second place for the 39 team. That's the Jardier community team. That's been doing a tremendous job from the start of the race to where they are at the moment. They'll definitely be looking for some positions, as is the number 5 team, home of Sim Racing Esports. Number 5 Aston Martin looking towards the rear of the number 300 Ford. We've seen them do some fighting. It's the rear view from the Ford, the GMR Motorsport that we were seeing before as well, a little bit wide through La Source. The Ford should have the engine power to fight alongside. Doesn't appear to have it, as we're just seeing the number 5 car go on through, and the Aston with a little bit more speed on the exit, a little bit more traction, gets ahead before we reach Radion, or before we reach Rouge even. You don't want to go side by side there. The 300 Ford is attempting to follow closely, maybe look for a send back as they're heading over to the Camel Straight. Ford, tremendous power in that car. Having a little look on the inside, deciding to go against it and waiting for another opportunity.
Yeah, just pokes the nose to the side. I think it was a case of Nesmian in the number 5 getting a much better exit out of La Source, jumping on the throttle earlier and able to just get ahead. And even with the Camel Straight, Vasilevsky's couldn't quite get past. Even with, as you said, the tremendous power in that Mustang, he was able to throw it to the side, but I think it could have been just a bit too risky. He wasn't significantly alongside by that point. And again, goes back to what we were saying earlier. Playing it safe at this stage is the best thing to do. You just want to bring it home. We've had so many drivers drop, so many teams drop, down to 63 cars. That is fully confirmed. 63 cars down from 64. So you just want to make it home. You want to be part of that 75%.
I did see some flickering on the scoreboard between the Delta of the 224 car and the 718 car. And that might be because the number 718 car, Frank, just got past the car they were fighting with. So the Porsche leading the Aston Martin now looks to be in Blanchemont and the bus stop where it all happened. And the Delta acting up just a tiny moment. The Aston looking for a small defensive line. Doesn't go too far, and the Porsche sending it up the inside, and that's a beautiful move on the brakes as the Aston has to fight back. And I think this push to the side left the Porsche a little bit upset. That also means that the Aston lost some time, and I believe into La Source the overtake went. We have Porsche sending it up the inside and completely ahead for the exit of the turn, and it means that Frank has pulled Team Nitro up to P4, and Vasquez Rodriguez with the Aston being in an Aston group that's currently split by a Porsche. It's currently sat in P4.
Yeah, well executed there from, well, both of them have been fighting really well over the course of this session and fighting hard. Now, can't let Max let it get to his head. Number 718 car, we did see just the tiniest bit of slip there as we head now into the third sector. Can't let the position go to his head. He has still got to be on the defensive. He's 46 seconds away from Kevin Braun in the 76, so I don't know if that's necessarily going to be viable for him to push forward. But he has got the position. Both of them have fought really well. Max just getting the run initially, staging a bit of pressure, and I think a bit of sportsman yield coming in from Vasquez Rodriguez as well, having gone off the track as a result of their fighting. That opened the door for the overtake in La Source, and just like that, we are good. It's also a question in the live chat about the 255 car. The 255 car had to retire out, unfortunately, with a technical issue, and that was about an hour and 30 minutes ago. So, unfortunately, we will not see them returning. Sad to say.
Yeah, and it's very sad because they were the pole sitters. They've been leading the race, or they were leading the race for quite a substantial amount of the 24 hours, or the 21 that we have had. But they've had an issue as well before, where the car and the driver swap just seemingly not being there, and they had to wake up one of the drivers. I believe Boothby was the one to receive the call, had to get up in the middle of the night, and they lost about 8 minutes of track time to get Boothby back in the car and get the car back up and running, which means they dropped to P8, and then somewhere a few hours after, and like you said, just over an hour 30 minutes ago, they had a technical issue, had to retire the car. Unfortunately, that would be race over for our pole sitters. Fortunately enough, not race over for the rest of the grid. So we still have some fights, and this might have actually opened up the door for a good fight for the rest of the top 10 positions, as we do see some close fighting within that we saw just now, with P4 and P5 being traded spots. And we might see some more for the lead even. I'm having no doubts that P2 and P3 will start fighting, but I'm so hopeful that P1 will somehow make a small mistake, or P2 will somehow grab some pace out of that car and be able to fight for the lead. I'm really hoping that we get to see that in the final few hours, because in about 40 minutes Christian will be back in the commentary booth, and he was the one that really wanted the fight for the lead, and he might actually be getting it.
Yeah, we'll have to see as it gets down to business. I know that Walsingham has slowly been reeling in that P1 entrant, but it's not quite happening yet, and not quite happening at the rate that he would necessarily desire. So may be able to peel up alongside, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to really actually challenge for that position. So it will be a case of, if Hipov or anyone else piloting the 258 car makes a mistake from LFM Esports, it'll be a question of that rather than if Walsingham is going to be able to peel it back for the Jardiere community team, who himself has actually peeled a bit of time away from Kevin Braun. So successes in different ways here on the circuit. I mean, we've got the Homer Sim Racing Esports car once again on the attack, this time on Basti Winkler in the 697. I keep mentally referring to it because we had it in our first stints as Godzilla. I keep doing that by default now, but Fisher Racing Esports in the 697 Nismo is on the defense, with Nesmian trying to challenge to get into that top 10.
Just to feed my delusion a little bit, I keep looking with my side eye on the bottom right of the screen and to the lap times that these drivers are doing, and I am unfortunately going to feed my delusion. I'm going to hand it over to Christian once he comes in the booth. The number one car, or the car in P1, the 258 car, is doing quite good pace. They're doing low to mid 217s, but the 39 car has seemed to be doing mid to high 216s, within the range of that half a second per lap time gain to be able to fight for the lead. Now, within the laps that they still have to do, it is entirely possible that they get close to the lead, or like you said, even with a mistake, they'll be getting closer and closer. But pulling away from the 76 car, it's just going to give them some more free room. It's going to relieve some pressure from behind to be able to look ahead and maybe, just maybe, get enough pace out of that car to hopefully fight to the lead. And my delusion is only going to be bigger and bigger when I look at those lap times. So hopefully, just I'm having real high hopes for this for the final few hours.
Yeah, I know that we are going to see a little bit of excitement towards the end as well, because as much as we've been talking about bringing it home, playing it safe, you also see people who want to go for moves get a little bit more aggressive. Not overzealous per se, but you do see them actually try and fight a little bit harder, because you know that time is running out. You cannot bide your time for that perfect opportunity. Oh, we see there from Nesmian getting the run before Blanchimont, so actually getting a chance and taking it while it stands, because you don't know when you're going to get another one. You run out of time eventually, and so as much as we will see drivers step into a bit more of a conservative approach to their race, we are also going to see them, and oh, there's Winkler going for a send on the bus stop. Tucks it to the right side. Not quite going to be the move yet, unfortunately, but still, the presence is felt, the attack is known, and now heading into La Source, will we see another move coming in from the Nismo? They're going to tuck to the right, but then come back in. I think going to be a couple more moves in the tank before we see these two subside their fight.
Yeah, like you said, a little bit more desperation, a little bit more action. But I will have to say, I think with 3 hours to go, this is not the time to be desperate just yet. Crashing out now is, I think, going to bring more frustration than crashing out on the final few laps, trying to get those positions. And quickly taking a look at the front, I almost got scared there. I saw Brown taking the position, but that's just the 39 car going in for the first of their final 4 pit stops. And maybe with a slow stop, we can see some fights with the 76 car. We'll have to wait out for that one with just a few laps, because I do believe the 76 car takes their stop about 2 laps later. We'll have to go and see and wait for that to happen. The pace currently not on route to beat the 258 car. The gap has solidified a little bit. Currently 31 seconds between P1 and P2.
See a few more cars now coming out as the 141 car now making their way out. The Mustang, as well as Woody Woodbreaker in the 362. There's Gary Schroeder in the number 4 car as well, and Daniel Durr in the 28. So time to see where these final stints line up. Who is going to have to take that extra stop potentially, as we have got quite a large spread of the field. We have Andre Hippoff leading in the number 258, lap 437. Geez, that took me a second to even process. But then at the other end of the field, you have, with 409 laps, 410 laps, that's going to be the 992 of Redouane Missaud in the H2 racing car. So big spread in terms of distance covered by the teams here, and that is going to lend itself to deciding where you want to finish, but also how much your pit stops are going to deviate.
And that's about 30 laps between P1 and the car running currently last on the timing list. That's about 30 laps times that 7 kilometers should be about 210 kilometers. And for my own sake, I know the distance for that is about to Amsterdam and back to my house, which is quite strange to think, because in my cars, in normal pace, normal speed, it would take me a few hours to go to Amsterdam and back. So that's it's strange to see how big of a difference that is in terms of P1 and the final place here. And they're all racing; they're all going extremely quickly. I don't think anyone here is driving slowly, as you know, 2:18s on race pace. That's not something I can reproduce, of course. Yeah, we do see the 76 car in the pits now. We'll have to keep an eye out on where the 39 car is going to end up, because that was the fight that we had been looking at. The 258 car still out, and a little bit longer. Here we see the 39 through Fanje, through these to the right-left section of Sector 2, heading on to the final sector as the 76 car is on their way to make their stop. It's going to be a little bit longer until we can say if they're going to be ending up ahead or behind each other. We do have the 39 making their way through Blanchemont now. It's going to be real close to see which one of the two will stay ahead. Two Astons fighting with each other. The 224 car in the pits now as well. 718 has been handed over to Houben. He's currently in 5th place. With the Team Nitro car through Fanje as well. So a little bit further behind. The 39 car handed off to Walsingham. Currently in 3rd still, has gone past the 224 car. Should go past the 76 as well. They are moving once again on the pit exit. And we're going to have to take a look at the standings to see which one of the two will be ahead ultimately, and it is quite close on the exit, but it does appear that the 39 car has just gone past the 76 as they were exiting the pit, so it was quite close to getting an undercut done, or getting the overcut done on the 39 car. And 76 Sim RC team has been handed off to Reader. It's currently in 3rd place. Vasquez Rodriguez in the 224 still in the pits. Second battle in the top 5. It's amazing that we have 2 fights in the top 5 alone. Houben currently on his way to make it through La Source and fighting up the hill now as Vasquez Rodriguez is released from the pit limiter. There we have it, the 718 Porsche zooming up the hill and getting past the 224 car. We can't find him. There he is. There's the Porsche a little bit further up the road, and has gotten a little bit of a bigger lead now, just about 2 seconds to the car behind, and that is what one pit stop difference can do. So we saw the Porsche stop a lap early and give the car away to Houben, and Paul now has his hands on the wheel of the 224 car. As we do see the 256 car and 176 car have an incident. Those are not in the top 5, so I believe those will all be looked at a little bit later. Number 11 car in the box as well. Like we said before, some more different ones, different pit stop timings all around the board. But once again, good pit stop timings in the top 5 have increased the gap, and maybe everyone can look ahead now, try to set some personal records as new blood has entered the cars.
Here's Libau now taking the lead of the rookie group, and is going to be shortly tailed with the number 31 at BMW, the quote, no skill, just luck team. I don't know, luck is carrying you in P2, so I think the more you practice, the luckier you get, if you know what I'm saying. So 36th position, second in the rookie group, and also apologies for a couple of mistakes I made earlier regarding driver names. But that's where the rookie group stands, as Ganta is now into the pits, and we will see him re-emerge in the number 11 potentially, or we'll find out if there is a swap on the cards. Meanwhile, looking further up ahead, I'm seeing the standings overall. It's Binovsky's in the GMR Motorsport Mustang. The number 300 is going to be 3rd position, with Linus Lucasen still holding strong in the 311 Bentley, Madcap Racing, and then Firefly E-Racing with the 789 Bentley currently leading by a couple of crucial seconds there. There's really not much in it between them, but those couple of seconds are everything. We're seeing Hippo heading into the pits now for the 258, so leader finally in the pit lane, and that will certainly bring things a bit more into perspective now that we've seen everyone tailing them already go for a pit stop. I think the 258 trying to max things out.
And they're all the way at the back of the pit lane as well. As you can see, their little triangle on the minimap indicating that they are currently leading the race. They're stuck right on the bottom side of the hill, and should be, once they're released, should be able to go up the hill quite quickly. And it does appear that the 39 car currently making their way on to the final sector as well. And I don't think it's going to be that close between P1 and P2, as we do see the triangle released and going up the pit exit, up the hill, and hopefully not be impeded by anything whatsoever. The gap coming down on the timing tower, it was about 31 seconds, I believe, and it does appear the 39 car has gained a bit of time as he's losing some more time as well. That's the standings for you. The data sometimes just being a little bit funky. We'll have to wait until the 39 car goes over the hill to have that number be solidified and have it be the proper gap. You see it drop down to about 23 seconds. I doubt that's the real gap, because it was a little bit more before. There we have it. It's 27 seconds already. So we'll have to wait about a sector time to see what that will be. But the 258 car being quite quick now, going through sector 2, and the gap actually is 26 seconds. So I don't know, Ben, do you have the numbers on the pit stop times for these two cars?
Yeah, so the pit stop times are pretty much exactly equal. We've got now Stubenrausch taking over for the LFM Esports car and the 258 out from Hippo, but pit times 74.6 seconds for the 258. Aidan Walsingham 74.8, and then they spent the exact same time to the 10th fully stopped in the pit lane. So it really is down to tenths now. I think a little bit of a sort of toss up between better lap times, traffic. You can toss it up to a lot, but either way, Walsingham is still reeling in that 258 car. Still got a bit of work to do, but is going to be certainly one of the cars to watch as this session progresses. We're just cycling through a couple of other cars as well that haven't really seen much of a spotlight, because I wanted to highlight some of the beautiful liveries that we have out on track. I think it was mentioned once in the live chat about one of the Mustangs, but really just want to emphasize something as well on top of it all. The visual designs of these cars and the work that it takes for the teams, not just to put an entry together, but all of these finer details, the setups, the liveries. It takes a lot. Joining an event like this is a commitment, and from everyone that's involved, be that on this side with all the staff and of course, let's say 505 Games, etc. Of course, for giving us the opportunity to be on air on the official channel, all the way down to the teams organising the liveries, going through likely multiple editions, adding your rosters to your cars, all these different little details and things. It goes a long way just to making this event something special.
And as someone who knows how it is to make liveries, the tools that the game gives you are very limited. So everyone goes out to make their custom ones, and it's very difficult to make it all line up properly, as lots of these liveries have very nice designs. Because if I am allowed to go in a little bit of detail here, for anyone who has made liveries before in Photoshop, they know that you have a wireframe of the car, and you have to properly align everything over that wireframe in different parts, and they don't always connect. So the door and the side of the car don't always connect perfectly, as well as the front section and the rear section of some cars, and the hood and the front bumper. They never connect in the wireframe. So having that all lined up takes a lot of time and effort, and I don't think I've seen any livery on the grid so far that has something misaligned, which means that even these ones for the 28 car, they have tremendous amount of details on the sides of their cars, and they have to be perfectly aligned as well as on the front. It takes so much time and effort to get that all set up, and like you said as well, getting the team together is one thing, but making a car look this good while racing, that is one complete other story, and they're doing it quite well, as we can see from almost every single car on the grid. You can see that there's been so much time spent on making it all look good, making it all look nice, and expressing themselves on the grid. And that's true for the bigger teams that have their own liveries, but also the smaller teams, the just 5 friends joining a 24-hour race teams. It's quite amazing to see the artwork that people can come up with.
You know, they are almost at the end of the day, they're like rolling pieces of art. And granted, you can't fully appreciate them because it's the equivalent of sprinting through the Louvre, but at the same time, it's always a sight to behold when you see these cars flying past. I mean, we're on board with the PS UK esports car. Side note, miss you guys. Looking forward to chatting at some point, catching up. Been a while since we talked, but Liam Walsh currently pilots in 15th position, dealing with a car behind, so having a little bit of rearward pressure. That's going to be the 84 of Robert Krillin, with the number 84 in 27th place. So a bit of different space in terms of race, but still, we've got them running together. You've got a couple of change-ups in the order as more drivers now heading into the pits. There's Christian Voss in the 789, and then Basti Winkler in the 697 Nissan. Are they still in there? Let's find out. We will see an update in the moment if they are still piloting the Fisher Racing Esports car, or if they've had a swap.
And they're getting quite close still to the number 9 car of Walsh, the Aston, that's just joined out right ahead as another pit stop UK car, and it does appear that Winkler's in the car for the 697 still. So we do see some little icons being thrown, and sometimes it is truly a yellow flag, and sometimes it's just the telemetry acting up for a moment, and it does appear to be a yellow flag. That is the 789 car that appears to be on the pit exit, slamming into a wall and being stationary now on the exit. That's not where you want to be. We catch a replay of what happened here. This is going on the exit of the pits, going up the hill, and still in the pit
It's like
box.
a technical
so that's
issue.
A little bit of a teleport, and like you said, yeah, technical issue. Probably the car hitting some walls, and well, that's not something you want to see there. That is a bit odd from the looks of things for the 789 car. Definitely not something you want to see. They are back out on track and currently driving in P10.
Yep, looks like Mark Offerman, now piloting the 789 car, has mastered the quantum realm for this next one. For this next stint, he's going to be using, I guess, fourth dimensional tactics, as we've just seen. But looks to be stable on track. He's now out in P10, so I think he's got a little bit of sort of free room. He's not quite on to the back of Lucassen. He's not really in the same contention, but is still going to have his own pocket of the course. You'll have to be careful though, because Lipka is behind him in the 119. Have to be watching 6 as a slow racing Super Pro Max Esport, rolls right off the tongue there, is going to be waiting in the wings. See how this plays out later on.
And the gaps are still quite close, like you said, just a few seconds in between the two. And here we have the Elephant car from Noe, currently 256, getting side by side with the MK Racing car as they're approaching Blanchimont. Backing out does the Ford behind as the Audi takes the lead of the two, and approaching the bus stop, the gap increases once more. The 256 car just thinking better of it, slowing down a tiny bit, not wanting to go side by side through Blanchimont, but not fast enough to keep that position before going through that corner, as the gap is still there, quite close. The 100 car as well in P35, the leading class of the rookies of the amateur class. Leading car currently P35, wants to make it 34, as the 81 McLaren currently being trailed hot by the number 100 BMW, going into the Lake Holmes section in sector 1, as their lap times have been shuffling around the two 18s to 19s, still pretty quick around the mid of the pack currently. There's a little bit of a deep braking and an off line into Brazil. McLaren not breaching one moment, keep on their line. It's getting real close now, going on to Pujon. Another corner you want to be side by side with. The BMW having a small look, not going for it, of course, because this is a horrible moment to go side by side in the entry of Pujon. You might pull it off on the exit, something along the lines of a acceleration moment, but I don't think the entry is a place where you want to be fighting in Pujon. You'd rather wait a little bit longer until they reach Staffelo, and then good run on the exit, then go for something, as Offerman is back in the pits after you saw them a little incident. Like Ben said, they've mastered quantum realm, approached the time travel tactics that we've heard so much about, and back to the pits maybe to repair the car, because they have seen some of the walls on the pit exit. They'll definitely want to make sure that the car is up and running, as they're back out again. Don't think that was a full stop from them. The previous lap did tick down to be around 4 minutes, as the number 100 car now goes into the pits as well.
Yeah, I'm going to say more cars now heading into the pits, and then we will be having our last 20 minutes. Still, we're fighting up and down the field. Reminder, folks, we'll in 20 minutes be having a switch over, the final switch over, where Christian Romano, you had him previously, and now he's going to be taking the seat for the final 2 and whatever hours remain by that point. So 2 hours and what looks to be 10 minutes. So looking forward to that. Of course, great character to have in the commentary box. But Jonathan Noe on the back of the 23 of Michael Sengs, once again coming through Eau Rouge. And Radion now, Kemmel straight, trying to get himself a good attack. Looks like a little bit more speed coming out for the Mustang, closing his way in. There's going to be Sengs on the defensive, on the inside, trying to lock out the apex side by side here through into the corner. Let's see what Sengs does here a little bit later on the brakes, trying to lock out the apexes, just gets out ahead. And in a tale as old as time, we do see Noah getting squeezed to the outer edge of that second corner, having to back off and drop by about half a second. The apex of the second corner after the Kemmel straight. Now down, making our way through to Pujon. He's going to keep it close. We'll go through No Name, but not quite going to be close enough to really stage an attack.
And that was a good fight, I would say. Good attempt from Noe, but great defense as well, being thrown out by Sengs. It was a good positioning with the car, making sure that he's hold the inside line, and also a little bit deeper on the brakes from what it seemed as well. The Audi just a tiny bit better on the entry of Les Combes, just placing the car ahead and making sure that he could take the apex on the first of the corners. Looking at the 69 Lexus heading into turn number 1. Some cars up ahead now in this turn 1. La Source, some contact, pushing another car wide. That was that for position, or was that just muscling through? Noah currently chasing through Blanchimont as well. And once again, Sengs on the defense into the bus stop chicane. The Ford just no way to go but stick behind and follow through these 2 turns, the final 2 of the lap. Maybe, just maybe, get a good send out of La Source, out of turn 1, up the hill and onto the Kemmel straight, and maybe try again one more time on the Les Combes section. Hopefully Sengs has got this under control. Looking behind them, you see a menacing car, Ford, what we've seen every single time I'm in a front, in a mid or rear engine car that's low with the ground. Like I said before, the Lamborghini, the McLarens, the Ferraris that are quite low. Every time I look in my mirrors, I just see the headlights of the Ford being with my head level. That's also something that is to be appreciated at all times. Sengs on the defensive early as well. Noe with the pace on the outside. Will it be a fight under braking again? Looks like the Ford is a little bit further ahead than last time and does make it work into Les Combes. And Noe up to 18th place. Sengs dropping down to 19th. The 23 car went defensive, but not enough to outmatch the Ford's performance. The engine just a bit too strong, and going up to P18.
Nicely executed there from Noé. So he had the pace clearly on tap, just waiting for the right opportunity to use it. And finally arrived this time out. So things are looking up here for many drivers. In terms of track conditions as well, bit of an update. Since we last checked in, the track surface temp has risen dramatically. We're now 27 degrees surface temp and 22 degrees ambient. Wind is nothing to be concerned about either. We had some slight crosswinds, but absolutely nothing now. The air is clear. The temperatures are high. This is now in that purely optimal track condition. Got to manage the tyres a little bit less, but also you can still push to your heart's content, not worry about sort of aero sensitivity with those crosswinds impacting your car.
And these are the moments that the drivers had to anticipate in the previous 2 or 3 pit stops, with that temperature rising as the sun is starting to rise and the track gets hotter and hotter. Drivers have to take into account that during their stint, the temperatures of the air in the track can vary ever so slightly and give them some variance in their tire pressure. So they have to anticipate that. That's something that will go away coming the next few hours, the final 2.5 that we've got going for us. 22 degrees in the air, 27 degrees on the track, I believe. When we started this about 1.5 hours ago, the track temperature was about 21 degrees from memory. So it has increased dramatically, like you said. And yeah, we'll see some more changes in that for the final 2.5 hours. Of course, everyone that stops now is going to be messing around in their head. What temperatures will it be in an hour's time or in 48 minutes time exactly? And how do we adjust the pressures? Do we go lower to anticipate a temperature increase, or do we go higher to make sure that the first bit of our stint is clean and we don't ruin our tires? It's always going to be a trade-off in racing. And that's no difference when it comes to the tires.
Here's your balance, your tires, your fuel. Of course, having your car set up to where you're not going too aggressive on those compounds either. A bad setup, you can scrub your tires, you can generate excess temperature, you can potentially even have a case where not all 4 tires are contacting the ground in certain parts of the circuit. You're cresting over curbs, they don't rebound fast enough. You can have a situation where you get a lot of instability over those curbs.
And not just instability, if you go over the curbs too hard, the tires will start to bounce a little bit, especially with those stiffer setups. If you attack a curb too fast, it wants to push into the car faster and then go out again faster. You might be able to damage the tires even and experience some pressure loss. That's something that is not unheard of, especially going over Rouge and Radion. On top of Radion on the left-hand side, there is a small bump that you can hit with the tires. Especially the 119 car now go through it, take a quite a wide run around that bump. We do see that in Lecombe as well. A lot of drivers taking the inside curb on the left-hander completely over it, and every single curb that you take, there is a risk of bumping too fast into it and getting a little bit of damage. Usually the case with sausage curbs that we don't see too often, just in the bus stop where you're going slowly anyway. But pressure loss is a real problem that drivers can be struggling with, and that's because they can't really offset that when they're driving during their stint. They have to change the tires for that to be fixed, and it makes calculations more difficult as well, because every single team will remember these are the pressures we put in for our previous stop, for our previous for the previous tire change. And if in the first few laps you already get some tire damage that you just don't know about, then you're going to assume, hey, we're going to need to up the pressures again for the next stop because this wasn't high enough, and we're losing a little bit of time on, you know, a lack of tire pressures. Then they're going to up those numbers for the next stop, and it'll be way too high because they didn't account for the tire pressure loss from the damaged tires, and then they'll be struggling for grip once more as the temperature increases and the pressure increases in turn, and it'll just be one whole mess of trying to figure that out. So the curbs and the tires, the suspension, it all plays together with how much pressure they all have to take in their car, how much damage it will take by going over those curbs. So it's all very, very challenging, especially in the long run. But luckily, 48-minute stints instead of 65 minutes is mandated by previous races. The majority of it, as you see the number 11 car go try to go around the outside of the 100 BMW, and there's contact in the bus stop, a small pile up here as everyone's trying to manage it around. 100 BMW hitting the tire barrier on the inside. Go again. That is unfortunate scenes at the end of their 437th lap.
Continuing at the live replay here, see a bit of a recap exactly what happened. So here's number 11, is Aaron Ganter going to the left side into the bus stop chicane, goes a little bit deep, tries to go over the curbs. You can see the sausage curb kicking the car up. No real other way to go other than to collide with the number 100 of Paletia Sharp. Now piloting the turn 1 car. Still going to be only one position behind, but with 7.5 seconds between them, it's not looking like a position they can easily get back. Time they won't be able to easily get back, and I think the stewards might be taking a look at that one. As we see, they're currently adjudicating incidents up to lap 431.
Yeah, that's about 15-16 laps ago. If you look at these drivers, currently on lap 440, it's only 9 laps ago. That's the difference between P1 and P28. Van Rossum currently piloting the 310 car. Ferrari European intensifies. That's the difference. We see on the top left, you can see 448 laps. It's 8 lap difference between P1 and P28. And of course, the incidents are all based off of the laps that those cars were in. So if it was the lap 431 from cars around the 28th position, that's about 9 laps ago. Was it about the front? That's about 15, 16, 17 laps ago. So that's a little bit of a difference to see here. So here the 431 lap on P52. So the incident is somewhere between P1 and P52 because they have just reached the 431st lap. So the stewards are working effortlessly through all these incidents, going through them. Immense feat as well, I must say, to all the stewards doing this live and making sure that all the racing happens as fairly as possible, and penalizing those that breach the rules. Big kudos to them as well, and a big thanks for making this all happen. So we're looking on to the number 3 car, sitting back to Van Rossum, the 310 Ferrari. The Lexus still ahead in P27, just finished 440 laps.
As a 450 laps is about to be reached by Stubenrausch in the 258 car as well. Major milestone as we come up to the final 2 hours soon. So a lot of gaps starting to open up as well. Curiously, the second half of the field is split not by singular seconds, but in some cases by laps. Let's take Christopher Moller by example, the 362 Mercedes AMG, 2 laps behind Carsten Bischoff in the 74, and I almost did it again by default. I see Biscoff in my brain, and I don't know how to turn it off. That's the British just creeping in there. But the front of the field, fair enough, we are seeing fairly close contention, but towards the back, it's a lot of multiple lap gaps, just trying to make it through.
Yeah, it would be very nice to see a cookie behind the wheel. That would be very entertaining. Currently, the 311 car at the Bentley in 7th place, up 1 place from where they started. And this is one of the silver cars that started in P8 and is now in P7. Like you said, there's sometimes laps between the cars, and we see that happen here. The 111 car, 1 lap behind their competitor ahead, and they have a lap on this 311 car, and they have once again a lap on the 58 car in 8th place. So Lucas is currently in an optimal place where they have exactly 1 lap ahead and 1 lap behind. Same for Nürnberger. Just complete clear air all around it. That's about 2.5 minutes that they have, which means that they don't have to worry too much, and they can maybe settle for this position and thinking, hey, we're going to finish in P7, we're going to finish in P6, and be happy with that. I think that's something, if you can settle with that for the next 2 hours, it's going to make the next 2 hours very, 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 very boring, because there's no fighting going on, as we see here with the 310 Ferrari. Van Rossum getting closer and closer to the number 3 Lexus as they're approaching turn 1. And the source, a real opportunity for a move. The Lexus is a little bit wide there as they're going through the first turn of the track. A nice view here. as they're approaching some traffic ahead.
A little bit of traffic coming up, and I think it's also about putting it into perspective. You could have, for example, the story of the 258 car, near flawless race, keeping it all the way through, 255 car retiring out ahead of them, meaning they got the pole and the top spot and not really having to worry much about fighting with others. It's just traffic management at that point. Compare that to some of the other cars who we know have had multiple issues, who we know have had additional caveats and problems to deal with throughout the course of the endurance race today. And you could say that, say, being down in the 40s, 50s out of the 63 finishers, not the greatest result, but for them it might be absolutely brilliant considering the circumstances they faced. And I don't doubt that a lot of these drivers have faced a multitude of circumstances. So making it to the end in its own right is a massive achievement, and something that the teams and drivers here should be immensely proud of, because it's not easy. It is an absolute war of physical, mental, strategic. It's all of it. It's a battle right to the end. And as you said before, that final hour can be grueling.
As you went on a little explanation there of the mentality behind the final hours, we did see the 310 car getting the overtake done and going up the position. You do see the 31 car now chasing the 489 through Lecombe with a lot of traffic. The 64 Lexus a little bit further behind. We can see that the orange and black car in P39, as do have the 310 losing the place once again, dropping back to P28 as the 3 Lexus. Number 3 Lexus is getting back the place. They're filtering through some traffic, so that might be opportunistic stuff from the Lexus to gain the position back while filtering through the traffic and through the back markers / front runners. I never know which is which anymore this far into the race. It can be any one of the two. And the Ferrari now in P28 just dropped back a tiny bit, 1.5 seconds to the car ahead, indicating there might be a car in between. We did see quite a big streak of cars currently going up the hill. Currently the 29th position, 47 car, a little bit of clean air as we're looking ahead, looking behind I should say, the number 88 Mercedes in P34. Not many Mercedeses on the track, might be the only one even, losing out and going very slowly, as they're currently losing out on P33, the 81 car going on through, and some more cars being handed some track position. They're on the middle of the track as well. Doesn't look like they're going extremely fast. They might be having a small issue as we're looking on.
You see, is the number 31 as well. Now, in a couple of minutes, we will be joined by the one and only Christian Romano to finish out the race here. But before we wrap up on our end of things, just want to say it's been an absolute pleasure and an honour to be broadcasting here today. So I've been handling the producing as well as occasionally jumping in for a bit of colour comms with Waps here. But it has been an absolute joy and nothing less.
I've been really appreciative of how everything is handled in the commentary team. Everyone is very welcoming for new talents like me getting on the mic and being able to shout at cars for a few hours in the evening and then a few more in the morning, as well as Ben, just a big thanks to you for handling a lot of the mistakes that I've had in qualifying in terms of producing, broadcasting and everything, and making sure that everything goes smoothly here during the hours of the 24-hour race. A big thanks to all the other commentators that have had conversations with me over the past couple of days, trying to get everything ready for the entire team to make sure that this can be the best 24 hours that we've ever had, and making sure the experience is enjoyable. Also big thanks to LFM, Lofi Motorsport, to organize all of this. Like I said before as well, the 505 Games, Kunos, and the set of course a team, as well as everyone racing on the track. It has been a very enjoyable experience for the 4 hours that we have been allowed to do this commentary for the team and for the race. as we're welcoming Christian Romano into the commentary box. Christian, welcome. And one question for you here. Are you ready for the final 2 hours and 11 minutes of this 24-hour race?
Good morning, Olaf. Good morning, Ben. Good morning to everyone that is watching the race. And yeah, last 2 hours. And let's be honest, I honestly don't expect anything, because at this point I just give up on expectation. Like every single expectation I had in terms of 24-hour normality, where gaps usually get larger and larger. It's not really happening. There is a battle for 11th, there is still a battle for 2nd. Technically there is still a battle for 1st. I honestly think that in the last 2 hours, if anything will happen, it's going to be just a 2-hour sprint race, where everyone is going to battle for position, and that's insane, considering that 22 hours have passed. You couldn't say that if you just joined, that 22 hours were passed, considering there are so many bunches of cars. Some DNFs, because also some DNFs happened. At the moment we are going with 62 or 63, depending on last car, if it's in the pits, definitely, or momentarily. So a good chunk of cars that will miss the checkered flag, but altogether this has been great, and as you said, perfectly organized by the LFM team and the crew team. And honestly, last 2 hours, nothing to lose. Like, the worst thing that can happen at this point is just losing time, and so I really think that many teams will try to 100% launch themselves into any single advantage that is available. Obviously, this isn't a priced race; it's a chill, fun race. But there are certain names here, and they are probably treating it as if it was an esports price level kind of race here.
I don't want to feed too much into the delusion that I've had in the past 2 hours. We spoke last night after I gave the controls over to you for after 9 p.m. And currently, the last 2 hours, I've just been watching the first 2 cars and the lap times of P1 and P2. And you told me you really wanted to fight or change for the lead. Well, you did get the change for the lead with the 255 car, getting some mistakes. But unfortunately, there's about just under 30 seconds between P1 and P2, and I have been watching the times. It had been possible about 2 hours ago. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it is possible now anymore for a change for the lead. So maybe, just maybe, there will be your dream come true, and we will have a fight for the lead. Like you said, fight for P2 is still there. And I wish you the best of luck in the next 2 hours, and most of fun as well, trying to figure out who gets what position in the end of the race. And that will be me and Ben signing off, I think, for the rest of the day. So thank you all a lot for joining us here in the viewing of this extraordinary 24-hour race here at the Assetto Corsa channel and on Low Fuel Motorsport as well. And hopefully we'll get to see you again in a future event.
So, good morning, everyone. I'm Cristian Romano. Ben and Olaf just gave the wheel to the commentary booth to me, and we are currently watching a battle for position. 27th place at the moment, getting decided between Van Rossem in Eurobeat Intensifies in Pro Class and Werner in wrong button, in the Lexus with the Vassar Sullivan livery. As you can see from here, Michael Humer in the HWR Racing in number 3, driving in the Lexus. 27th place for Humer. Last lap it was an 18.1, lap 446 compared to Van Rossem's 17.8, so a good battle there is highly likely to happen, as there is a yellow flag at the moment. That car in the pits, as you can see from here. Unfortunately, there are a lot of cars and servers are struggling a tiny bit, and just 5 meters in front there is also the battle for 10th place between Gadowski and Hoffman, as the Bentley for Firefly Racing is battling against Slow Racing Super Pro Max Esports in the Aston Martin here. They just made the move a couple of minutes ago on the Bentley. 7, 8, 9, currently in 11th, 12 seconds in front of Winkler. I hope everyone had a good race so far, as we provided a 24-hour coverage for the entirety of the race duration. And as always, I have the chat underneath me, so if you want to throw any question at me, just feel free to do it, and I will try to answer at best of my capabilities, whether it is race related or any miscellaneous about the race cars, or even IRL GT racing, because I should be able to provide information even about the IRL counterpart. For example, here we are seeing Michael Humer in the Vassar Sullivan livery, and the team is HWR, although there is a Ferrari now going maybe into the inside in campus. No, it doesn't happen, and that's because, as I said yesterday evening, the Vassar Sullivan is a real team, but the livery is not in the game, so this was made from the team in great detail, because the livery is pretty much the same as the real life counterpart, and it's also a very nice color combination. Obviously, favorite of mine is lime and black. It's a great combination, and I will die on this hill. This is the best combination in the world, and I'm a fan of lime as a color, so I'm kinda biased on the opinion, but it's just me on the matter. As this last lap, Humer just submitting an 18.6, 18.7 for Van Rossem, so a bit in trouble. Can't really attack current 27th place. As the podium positions, there has been quite the shuffle from 12 hours ago. The Lexus is not leading anymore. There has been quite a change in the podium, with the number 39 fan favorite being now in 5th place, and the 258 LFM car that is about to, well, at least stay in the podium, but never say never, as the leading car has a 35 seconds gap on the 76 Aston Martin. But never say never, an incident and a mistake can always happen, especially in the last 2 hours, where maybe concentration and focusness are dropping off a tiny bit, and a blue flag, a back marker, a bump on the road, a curve being taken wrongfully, or a simple mistake in Pujon could bring your car into the wall and then ruining completely your race. Lady Lexus, which was driven by the 255 competition by Ghost Setups, which is not in the race anymore, so they will be scored as a DNF. There is also the battle for 16th, just a lot of minutes ahead. The Rafael Oliveira for Dragon Nation Endurance. To hell and back. As the Aston Martin here is defending against Bo for 16th place, but it's also 4th place in class. So not really a useless place, this one here, as a 16th overall, and also the in-class battle. As you can see, the different colors in the number plates, those represent the class in which the teams are in. So Pro are in the white number plates, Silver in the silver one, and I am in the red one. So you can differentiate in the tower, which is also rotating with all the different useful informations about the race. As you can see in the bus stop, there was a dynamic team trying to take the place on Rafael Oliveira. As Team Bo sticks on the outside, maybe goes for the cutback, but can't really put it together, as he has to remain behind the 16th placed race car. Hanken, the number 9, sits another 77 seconds up front, so this is likely the position they are fighting for. Remember, stint timer is only 48 minutes, and the pit lane journey for a full service lasts 92 seconds. As you can see here, the dynamic team goes into the Camel, into the right part of the Aston Martin number 169, and that's dynamic taking the place from Oliveira, as Team Bo is now in 16th place and 4th in class after the pits. So the team with the white and orange race car is now position closer to the podium silver class. Unfortunately, the podium is very far away. And then here, low fuel Motorsport, Dennis Shop, number 257 in the silver class. Is the 25th, just behind Gundle in car number 199 in the Ferrari 296. In last lap it was 19.7 for Shops and a 19.8 for Grundler, as Swazbach is possibly going into the pits, although that was a yellow flag on his own. Something has happened to this BMW. I wonder what happened. Let's go for a replay to see exactly the situation there for number 47. As probably was actually the car just exiting the pits. Yeah, so yeah, okay, it was. Unfortunately, with the server being in high pressure, sometimes the pit lane is stated as a yellow flag, so I can't really know when it's one and when it's the other. But we have to go back to the battle for 24th, because Gundler and Shops, as I said earlier, are battling here with the Lamborghini Huracan Evo 2 car that is participating in many different championships around the globe, and it's not really having the best year of its life. This car takes basically the best wins in DTM with the Caster team having a blast with this car, and also in the GT World Challenge the GT World Challenge Endurance Cup, always with the very same team. Also Aerolinks used to drive these cars, also in WEC. From this year, Aerolinks team which also switched and also not only switched cars, but separated the two entities that are in the hands, so Iron Lynx and Iron Dames. Iron Dames driving the Porsche in WEC, for example, and Iron Lynx driving the Mercedes, a double Mercedes effort in obviously LMGT3 in WEC. Whilst in the GT World Challenge, Huracan isn't really that much popular, apart from Gasser team. There aren't many important names that comes to my mind. The last round in Zandvoort, I would actually give a look to that because it was a very nice one, especially the first race. The first race was a very important one, even because there was the kind of 69 in Gold Cup, so Verstappen.com, that had a great time, especially with their sim racing driver, making the switch to real life and putting the car in a lot of optimal ways to make overtakes in impossible places. So I will have a look at that race later on. How are the penalties severed? So basically, if you see a penalty on the screen, so okay, this is a lot big. Look at this 258 drive through. Whoa, this is a big one for the leader. Oh, drive through for the leader. That will have to be served in 3 laps. So very timed comment there. So basically the penalties have to be served at the next available pit for the time penalties. So 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, etc. have to be served in the next pit stop. The drive-thrus for track limits. The stop and go 30 seconds for speeding in the pit lane, and also the drive-thru for speeding in the pit lane have to be served in 3 laps time. Otherwise you get a black flag and you get disqualified altogether. So here we have the leader, Justin Stuberack, who will have to go through the pits. So apparently, what I said not even 10 minutes ago, I think my hope has been fulfilled. The leader will have a drive-thru for an incident. And remember, the drive-thru here is not a drive-thru like in Zandvoort, to link myself to what I said earlier. It's 60 seconds. In Zandvoort it will be like 25, maybe at best, maybe 20. No, it's 23 to be exact. It should be 23. There are a lot of tracks, so I may be confused, but I remember it's very, very short. It's 23 seconds, around there, by the way. 60 seconds here. And so this team will probably lose a position on Malinowski, because Malinowski just went into the pits, and also this could ruin also their pit strategy, because depending on Stuberack's fuel level, they would have to pit before going for the stop and go for the drive-thru, and they have to choose which one to do first. I will personally go for the drive-thru because the tires get cooler while going for the drive-thru, and by doing so you ruin the tires. So they have to do it before the pit happens. Also, there was a drive-thru shortly ago. It was for Les Treje, a drive-thru for exceeding track limits, 72 seconds in the pits. As you can see, into the pits. Will this be the drive-thru, or will this be the stop? I think it's the stop. No, it's not. I think it's the drive-thru. And so even Les Treje now in the 3-1-1 hot lap. Madcap Racing, apologies, it's just that I was watching from far away. Sergio had the drive-thru, and so he dropped a couple of positions. Maybe only one, to be fair, as the 58 is now in 7th place. But as I said, a big one here, LFM Esports leading the race and battling for the podium since the very start of the 24-hour. Is now in the pits for a drive-thru for an incident, which unfortunately I cannot show you, because I simply don't know what happened, since my race control was activated from the start of my stint. The incident happened before the start of my stint. Stuberack is, I think he's stopping. So yeah, I can see the car stopping here. So they decided to go for the other way around. Or maybe they're trying to appeal to it, because yes, you can also appeal to the penalty if you want. It doesn't always give you the reversal, but sometimes it happens, and I suppose the 258 is trying to get the appeal done. So drive through here would effectively ruin completely the race, as Mercy Malinovsky for JJ Community Team. Apologies, earlier on I said they are in 5th. It's not, they are in 2nd and lagging a lot, as this car was sideways in a straight line, so I don't think this car is having a good time connection-wise. So Subaru is now back on the racing surface. And we will see if the drive-through will happen shortly, or if they will manage to appeal to it. As the battle for 27th still goes on. Car number 310 is still behind number 3 by 1 second. And 18.5 the last lap for Van Rossem. Humer made 18.8 early on. Thank you, team. Thank you very much. Team which helped the stream going smoothly earlier on, as Gondler is now into the pits. This car was battling with shops early on and then fade away afterwards. Same helped the live stream going forward in the very early hours of the morning, as the Ferrari completely goes straight into the bus stop, cuts the chicane altogether and loses a massive amount of time. And so I don't think we'll see the battle for position in this lap nor in the next one. Two laps to go. So I think they are still appealing it. Remember, 3 laps available to go after your penalty. Otherwise you get disqualified, and this is 62 seconds in the pit, as the 256 is now out of the pits. Jonathan Noe driving in the 256 low fuel Motorsport for the Mustang, 10 seconds behind Kigis, as Sanks is also back on the racing surface and losing position on Dominic Cypress. As the CMRC Endurance by Barminia now jumps into 22nd with 2 hours to go. Well, a bit less than 2 hours to go. And it's important, it's very important at this moment here, because many teams here couldn't go to the end with a single pit stop. They have to go for 2, as Winkler is now into the pits. You can't see it from the tower, but trust me, that Nissan is now into the pits. So that's why it lost a place. The only Nissan GTR, I think it is. I mean, I don't recall seeing any other Nissan in the race so far. A bit odd to say this, but top 10 compared to 12 hours ago, completely different. Only Aston Martins, except for Strege in the 311 and leading in silver class. In 8th place, Strege is in the Bentley, and Marco Bischoff in the 718 Team Nitro, which had a blast in the last International Endurance Series. It was the dominant team here in Spa, a bit less dominant. They are in 4th at the moment with a Porsche 911 992 being used also. The same car being used in GT3 and Porsche Cup. Or rather Porsche Super Cup. About 43 seconds behind Brown in the 76 CMRC by Barminia. Fortunately, without the team being written on the bottom right corner. And 10 seconds behind Malinovsky. Stuber now still hasn't pitted. So I'm starting to think that maybe the penalty has been lifted. Well, I know there is one way to see it. I just don't want to use it, but just to be sure, let me try something. Because I can simply go here and go for this. No. This one. So yeah, you can see the drive-through there. So it's still on. The drive-through is still on. Could be a bit louder. Yeah, okay, no problem. I can make myself less loud though, because the game is already on max. I can go for this. Okay, now it should be the game louder, but technically the game is now louder considering I am more quiet on the mixer. Simply because I don't want to go into the menu, and usually the menu in these moments is something I wouldn't like to click on, considering that the server is already in huge pressure. So Stabarak, we saw the drive-through is still on, and you can see the laps are over. They tried to go for a review. It's clearly failed, and it's a drive-through, and this means we have our change for the lead, as Malinovsky in the car number 39, Georgia Community Team, is now, well, not now, as in literally now, but shortly they will lead the race as the car goes over the start finish line. And this is now the lead for Malinovsky. You can see on the tower. You also saw the car briefly in the pit lane. Malinovsky is now leading the race. So the fan favorite car is now in the lead of the 24-hour after Stabenok received a penalty which drops them in further. Still in the pits. This is how long this is as the LFM race car dropped 2 positions, and Bischoff 28 seconds behind could maybe hope for something, as the podium is not really that far anymore. It was 40 seconds prior to this lap. Now it is only 20 seconds ahead, so Bischoff can still hope for something to happen. The 258 is now in third, so drive-through for the incident early on. This is massive. This is a massive one. Now leading the race, the J Community Team with Maciej Malinovsky driving the car number 39 in Pro class and overall, obviously. Strege is leading in Silver class with a good minute or so. Actually, it's a minute and a half, more or less. So 90 seconds in front of their closest opponent, which is Winovskis in 11th place in the 300 for the Mustang. And then in AM class, the leader is Max Mosseman for Nuskil Jatlak in 35th place, as Mosseman is leading the AM category Remember, there aren't prizes for this race, it's just a fun race, but it's obvious that everyone is also battling for positions as the time goes on. Masterman goes now into the side of one of the Aston Martins in the field. As we go back to the battle for position between Humer and Van Rossem, as this one is still going on. So HWR Racing in the Lexus, 1.3 seconds in front of the rival. Last lap for Humer was an 18.0, 17.9 for Van Rossem. Both cars clearly are pushing, as they sit 30 seconds behind Klin in 25th. Gadowski, who is now exiting the pits after losing the position on Tom Hanke, and Christian Bosch is now very close to the Aston Martin number 119 in 14th place. As British also is in the pits in the car number 911. There in the tower. Only 7 seconds are gapping the leader and Kevin Brown following. Last lap it was a 16.8 for Brown. So I really think that actually the battle for the lead just started. With 1 hour and 40 minutes to go, we are reaching Sprint Cup duration with 100 minutes to go and still a lot on the line for especially the overall win. It's kind of a 58. Makovkin had a moment, clearly. So something happened to the car number 58. We can see the replay of the... Okay, it was another car exiting the pits. It's very frustrating, I'll be honest. Especially when don't know where the cars are, but you only see a yellow flag. Also Voigt into the pits now. That's the car in 8th place going into the pits in front of Eduardo Ruggero for Ragioli Racing Esports. And Bateway now exiting the pits, so that's why the yellow flag appeared on their name and on their behalf. So that's 100 minutes to go for all these teams. This has been an incredible race weekend, as the number 3 now goes into the pits. So Van Rossem now has clean air in front and can try to okay, everything under control. As he can try to take position on track compared to his rival in the Lexus, now in the pits as the Pro Class number 310, 13 seconds behind Klin in the 84 Aston Martin. But yeah, I honestly think that this could be closer for a battle in this very stint. on 7 seconds as Voigt is now back on the racing surface, and he's losing the place on Binovskis in the 300 as the CMR Motorsport Mustang is now in 9th place, with Giro just following them in the Home Sim Racing Esports. 10th place for them. But even for them, it's going to be 2 stops to the end. It's going to be interesting on who can manage to get to the hour and 40. A bit less, to be honest, since it should be around 45 minutes, so an hour and a half will be the time slot on which you want to pit just after the hour and a half mark, because from that point on you're only required to go for a single pit stop compared to every other team that has to go for 2. All these liveries are great to be seen. It's a very nice touch that many teams went on to put a livery on their car. I saw a couple of personalized liveries, especially for the event, using the 24-hour of Spa official logo. 24-hour of Spa, which will be held in late June, and we'll see the highest number of cars ever on the event. The entry list that is literally as big as it can get, with possibly a sold out even in the pit stalls. It's about 82 cars if I remember correctly. So effectively the max possible in Spa-Francorchamps. And if you are Belgian, I suggest you to go to the 24-hour Spa, because that's an incredible event. And no, it's a long race, but it's also a long race, and there are a lot of activities in the fun zone. I really want to go there one day. Either that or the 24-hour Nürburgring, which also is held in May. Speaking of which, there has just been the 24-hour qualifying, and from last year, the 24-hour of Nürburgring is also part of the International GT Championship. Same goes for the 24-hour Spa. So now they are both on, or rather under, the same umbrella, and they count for points too. So that is going to help at least having more GT3s in the 24 hours Nürburgring. Not that it needed them, considering all the classes and all the cars that participate in the event. And as I went through to my speech about endurance races, the gap between Brown and Malinowski is now 6 seconds, 16.7 in the last lap for Brown. Now it's a 16.9, so another half a second has been gained on Malinowski from Brown. But as I said, it's going to be extremely important, the strategy from the pits, because if they pit at the wrong moment, this could be an extra pit and another 90 seconds standing in the pits. So Giro now 2.7 seconds behind Minovskis. This could be the battle for 9th place, although they are easily in the top 10. Pascal Giro number 5, 10th place at the moment. Only 2 seconds behind Binomski, so he's in silver class. There was an NFA between Red Caps and Top Racing TV for a contact, so NFA for them. And theoretically the pro team should be quicker than the silver team, but at the moment gap is not extending, but certainly not even reducing. 2.3 seconds at this moment. You can see the purple Mustang just there in brushing on. This is possibly a battle on its own, considering that Tom Hanke in the number 9 is 42 seconds behind, and under 30 seconds up front, Robert Binovskis is in the 300. Apologies, another 30 seconds in front of Binovskis is Eduardo Ruggiero in the 58. Jolly Esports. As you can see here, Binovskis will have to give space to the leader in the car number 39. As you can see here, 5.5 seconds. Kevin Brown is quick. He is quick. Another half a second has been gained. So as it stands, this could be a battle in roughly 10 laps. There aren't safety cars, there aren't virtual safety cars here, so you don't really have to defend against the quicker cars. Also, there is a blue flag rule in action, so you as a blue flag car can't defend, and further to that, you also have to give the way to the quicker cars. So as you can see now, that's at the 5.6 seconds. Malinowski is not in a great position at the moment with a 39, struggling to extend the gap to Brown, and since only 90 minutes remain, this will not be, as always, maybe a bit less defensive, maybe a bit more cautious, considering there is a lot of time to go. Now it's only 90 minutes, and they will push as hard as they can to not give Brown any single advantage. Because the battle for first was short ago, unbelievable, and then a drive-through hit Stuberauch in the 258 LFM car, which now sits in third, 24 seconds behind Brown and 26 in front of Bischoff. As the car number 39 goes into the pits, as I said, with 90 minutes to go, so perfectly in time to get in their strategy to the end with only one stop. So from now on, every single team that pits will have to go through the pits only once more, since the stint timer is 48 minutes. So they will go for 45 and 45, maybe undercutting a tiny bit to get the best out of the tires to defend the perfect conditions by extending, or at least trying to extend the lead on track, thanks to the tire advantage, as Giro is very close to the Mustang as he goes for the move, and that's 9th place for Giro. So I think also the Mustang helped a tiny bit there, but never mind, because now Minovskis is in 10th place, second in class with Walsh about a minute behind. So ultimately not a major concern for the same Motorsport, who at this point are probably thinking about their second place. As in 20th place, there is also the battle between but Spencer and Alexander Lubolavsky. As Lubolavsky is only 21st and 1 second behind Spencer. These gold, rather chromed gold livery in the car number 32. Remember that this event had free, well, nearly completely free personalization of the liveries. They still opted for a default gold livery. So they have the livery on, it's just that they haven't submitted it. So maybe that's why we see only the gold livery. Meanwhile here the 23 Audi R8, which unfortunately its real life counterpart is not really having a great time, but at the same time I don't think that the sim racing side of the table is not really happy either. As the Audi R8 lost a lot of appeal and performance after the factory team effectively chose to, I won't say close down, but certainly reduce their presence in the GT world altogether. Remember that Audi also had in plan to put together an LMDH. I think it was an LMDH, yes. Okay, no, he's into the pits, never mind. And then just a week prior to their showcase, effectively, showing the car to the public and to the press, they literally said, okay, no, never mind, we give up, and they never put together the LMDH project for hypercar. And then they also just I think 1 month later they announced their F1 commitment and effectively closed down of their GT heritage, which to that moment was probably the best manufacturer in the GT World Challenge, with the Audi R8 that had VRT as their main team. VRT that then switched to BMW in the GT World Challenge, but also in other categories. Another category in WEC. As Yugoslavsky here is car number 32, very close to the Audi, now side by side between the two. And that's now Lugoslavsky, 19th place for the car number 32, just prior to the comb to the camera straight. That was the position switch between 32 and 23. Spencer lost the place to Lugoslavsky on the Lamborghini, who now has clean air, 30 seconds behind Tipak in the 256 LFM Ford Mustang. So yeah, the Audi effort now in the GT World Challenge is slightly less, I think the correct word is dangerous, because early on with VRT and Trezor, I think these were the only two top teams, and Attempt also. Had been huge contenders for wins upon wins, both in single races but also in the championship. And then after the effective downgrade of the Audi capabilities, the only team remaining in the Audi environment, I think the only major team is still Tresor Attempt Racing. So now Pinowskis is into the pits as they go now in the 100 in AM category, which had a switch because of pit stops. Turn 1, James Lebeau in front of Corning in the other BMW, but actually the entirety of the AM class in the top 4 is a BMW, to be fair, as the Dutch driver has 15 seconds gap on Koenig. So the battle in AM class is still pretty strong. With an hour and 20 minutes to go, there's still a good chance for turn 1 to get a win here in their category, as there is a car actually stopped on the racetrack. That's the 257. So what happened here? Lucas Fund in the 257 Liveries Motorsport is now back on the throttle again, but something happened to them. So this is what happened. It was a very odd... Oh wait, I think this one was an incident, because I can see the front end of the car not really... Yeah, this was an incident in Rouge Blanchimont. We can go for the onboard to see exactly what happened. Was it... Oh, that's a curb. No, that's the rear. Yep, that's a slide. And then into the wall hard. Then sitting in the middle of the racing surface. So that's what happened to Lucas Fund of 25th place at the moment. 90 seconds behind Trane. And only 12 in front of Boucher. Oh, the rear is not there. Oh, the rear is not there. While CRT, 777, gives the way to them. Not sure how good of the decision that is. So that's the LFM team into the barriers and possibly into the pits. They were in the middle of the silver battle. In 11th place now. But I don't really think that this 11th place will be held, since I have to, I suppose, pit. The rear is certainly not there. I could see the car sliding around, and the front aerodynamic is also not there. But apparently they chose differently. They at least want to assess the damage, whether it's pit stop worthy or if it's bearable. They will lose time, that's for certain, but remember that a trip in the pit lane is very, very time consuming. 92 seconds in the pits. Rather 102, I think, actually, because if you count everything up, so it's 92 only for the pit lane. Plus service of 30 seconds. So you also have to apply the damage. They will have to repair the damage. I don't think they will continue with this car until the very end. It's possible. Unfortunately, there isn't like a duct tape quick repair kind of what happens in real life. So going for the black duct tape that they use. Actually, that's one I discovered. It's not, obviously it's not normal duct tape. It's not something you can buy on your local DIY store, but it's actually the duct tape that they used in aircrafts to repair the wings, as a sort of quick action to repair the wing on an airplane. Usually that duct tape is in the grey color. And it's a special duct tape made, if I remember correctly, with Kevlar even, for how strong it has to be. And that's obviously a temporary solution to assess some damage that will later then be repaired. But yeah, normalize having duct tape on the car if the necessity arises. So, situation is a bit odd at the moment, because I remember that Walsingham in the 39 went in the pits just 10 minutes ago. Kevin Brown still hasn't. And also, if you get to the pits, now we're getting to the part where I can say that if you get to the pits with less than 48 minutes to go, which I don't think to any of them will happen, you get effectively 0 pit stop to go. Hello Dexter, welcome in the stream. This race is getting to the last moments. Only 60 minutes to, well, 75 minutes to go, and the battle for the lead still goes on. You're not seeing it because the 76 is leading, but theoretically it is a battle with the car in 5th place, now 4th. I thought it was quicker. Okay, now 4th, as Adam Walsingham in the 39 pitted before Brown. The gap was 5 seconds early on, and this was a battle for 2nd place before Stubberhawk received a drive-through for an incident, and so the car is now in 3rd technically, but 2nd on track. Brown is not really having a good time here, all the cars around them. But remember that this team also, before the red flag, the very first red flag at the very beginning of the race, was practically in last place. And everything turned around for them. Meanwhile here, Daniela for Apollo Motorsport, only 1.6 seconds behind Peters, as this is the battle for 42nd place. A very interesting livery. Knowing how difficult it is to make a livery, I really envy those designers that can put such art together, even because you have to kind of get the different parts of the race car together on your editor, and those parts are actually not linked together automatically. You have to link them together manually and very, very precisely, because the different parts in the SVG are in different places of your file. So you have to be extremely precise, and these liveries are exceptional. In Apollo race, with Apollo Motorsport having an incredible livery, extremely detailed, and with a good color combination, orange, white and black. It's always a nice one to be seen. And I'm having a look at the gaps. It's incredible to see the gap between Hilligist and Ruggiero, because look at this. Okay, it just disappeared. But the gap between the two cars on track, it's 8 seconds only, But then you see the lap, and they are on 2 laps gap with each other. So Reggio Esports 2 laps behind their car in front. Okay, let's have a look at the 1-for-1. I will be the judge of that statement. Yeah, because I once was a livery editor, so I know the struggle. Of making a livery. You know, I think there is a sort of British or American fighter jet approach here with Kenneth Rice in the TTR driving the Mustang. I really like the use of lime here. It's a really cool touch on the front of the car, having them off, with the headlights being used as eyes. I think there is a bit of a remind also to many other cars that had the same approach. Certain major liveries come to my mind, like the Porsche in the very early 2000s. I think it was in GT2, Porsche 911, that raced certainly in US, in the North American series. I don't remember when exactly, nor the team, but we have also more recent liveries like that, such as Alexi/Roxy has used that livery. As always, it has been used throughout history, and it will be used in the future. But as always, it's always a nice livery and a nice idea to put on the car, having the muff with the thieves. As always, extreme detail in certain liveries here. As time goes on, I think we can go for around the grid. So 62 teams still remain. We start with Le Demesois 992. And if you are confused on why this 992 is back here in last place, 2 laps behind Nathan Gray, it's because of a lot of issues that he had throughout the race. But this team, and especially this driver, they are very, very strong, so don't get fooled by their placement on this very race. Nathan Gray then for Spatos Hermanos with a yellow Bentley and the 24-hour Spa logo on the side. In 61st, 60th place for TTR, as we just mentioned. As we go for CRT, Jonas Ulrich, 59th place for the car number 2. Zohan fit for Zero Lift, the black matte livery, and I think that's the geographical altitude of the racetrack on the sides. That could be. There's a good chance that that's what I think it is. Then we've got Pascal Kozbek for Kozbek Racing Team with Good Mile Racing kind of livery. For who doesn't know, Good Mile Racing is... okay, no, it is a Good Mile Racing livery. Okay, never mind. It's not a reference. It is a Good Mile Racing livery, as you can see from the front. Then Tino Fechter in the RRT number 22, racing Habits with a green white and black livery. That's a very nice combo there. Nothing too exaggerated, just a good one for this team. Matthias Metzger in Rookie Racing Motorsport. In the Aston Martin, don't touch this car, okay. And then just up front it is Stewards Motorsport with an Aston Martin old style, I would say, with the colors. Sascha Flegel drives for Slow Car Club in the Mercedes AMG GT3 with a matte fluo yellow and black livery. Very standard, but the color combination is great. It reminds me of a certain driver in that won several championships in MotoGP, and Carsten Bischoff for TS Racing. Purple and black is also a great combo. Great fan of that if used correctly. The 74 is now in 52nd place. Marco Goniger for Pulse Racing, number 333 in the BMW M4 GT3. Gradient from grey to black. Also difference in the composition, because the grey section is in matte and the black one is in either lucid or metallic paint. Fischer Racing Casual, Team Clotten in 50th place. Car number 193, as always the Fischer Racing livery, always a good one. Then we got Stewards Motorsport in the 24 sister team. I have no idea if you write in German what you are saying, because I don't know German, unfortunately. For you, I am Italian, so I just know English and Italian. You can go for an Italian comment if you want. That's the best I can do. I'm not really proficient in German though. And Gary Schroeder in the McLaren. Oh, that's a very nice one. Very complicated, I would say, for SG Endo Performance in 48th place. As then Rookie Racing Motorsport, even for them, pretty simple orange McLaren. Marvin Garfe is driving in the DK Racing team. For 6th place for them, 45th for Andreas Müller, Downforce Racing, as this car has been seen thanks to the bright color. It's very recognizable on the racing surface, let's be honest, with a bright azure. And then another good mile racing livery. This time it's for the number 028, not only 28 on the number plate. For Kosbeck Racing Team, CRT Cadiz Racing Team with their usual bicolor livery just behind their sister team in the Mustang. 43rd place for them, 42nd for Apollo Motorsport, as we saw earlier on, the livery. And just 1.3 seconds in front, it's Lawrence Peters in the Knalala Racing BMW, 79 seconds behind Matthias Koch. In 40th place in the other Stewards Motorsport livery and car, but this time it's a BMW. Then we got a, let's say, battle of colors on the Gruen Racing 262 paintball liveried Porsche, and it's Korn Racing in the Robe livery. Number 41, 37th place Leon Gelder for Not Kill Just Luck. They were leading IM class earlier on, but now they are in second, 21 seconds behind the current leader in turn 1, with a very professional livery here for turn 1, as number 100 just crossed the line, leading the IM category. And then we start back with the silver class with the car number 64, Racing Team Hungary in 35th place, and for them a an orange and black livery, but way more simple than turn 1. Turn 1's 1. It's a bit of a wordplay there. This should be a pleasing foot. I have no control over there because I'm just doing commentaries for this race, but theoretically I would suggest you to get your hands on Assetto Corsa Evo, which is still in early access, but if you get it now, there is a good chance for you to get all the major updates earlier and cheaply. Because if you buy the early access now, you get particular thank you from the dev team that will bring you to some updates later on during the year. And go check that one out because AC Evo is a very important project in the making, and I think it's going to be a blast as soon as the early access is over. So that should be about the end of the year 2025. So the very start of 2026 it should be the 1.0 for AC Evo. Then Leo Mack for Real Sim Sports, 33rd place for car number 88. Christian Dezan here for Top Racing TV, the Spanish commentary team, in 32nd place in the car number 81. DC Racing, L'Intima Costanti, Matteo Di Bono driving the Aston Martin with pink and black colors. Then Rosario Piazza in the 164 ACC Italia, 30th place for the Italian team. We can then go into the top 30 with Mike Bugla, Kelly's Racing Team, Lamborghini 777. Then 47 Racing, number 47. Here in 29th place. David Tepper for Scuderia JM Racing, 28th place for them in the car number 199 with a pretty normal livery. The HWR Racing with the Vasse Sullivan Lexus, 27th for them, but Spencer in the pits, so he's dropping positions obviously, but he's in the MK Racing, number 23 now in 27th. Christian Buescher, Eurobit intensifies with a Ferrari 296 in the car number 310. Lucas Freund, 24th place for the 257 Lamborghini, which never pitted in the end, so they assessed that they can continue with the damage, and they are now in 24th place. 23rd place for the number 84 for Alfa Racing Team. Then 22nd place for CMRC Endurance by Barminia. This is the sister team of the car that is now sitting in 2nd place, just about 10 minutes in front also, physically. And then 21st place for Red Caps Racing, number 79. Here is the BMW for them. And then top 20, Lowfield Motorsport, Lucas Tifach, 256 LFM for the Mustang. Stefan Vimuzar for Pit Speed Racing, the Porsche 911 992 with a dark black and orange livery. Seems like a rusted livery. I really like the idea there. Alexander Luboslavski in car number 32, now into the pits in Speed Stars. Then Jonas Vakola also in the pits for Red Nation Endurance. Sebastian Val in the DYNMC, or rather Dynamic Motorsport by Kalinic, 16th place for them. And then Fisher Racing Esports in an only Nissan Nismo GTR. Then Tom Hanke in, I'm not sure which team it is, I think Psuk Esports, considering the car is leveled like that. Then Cryonics Racing, Sebastian Locher in the 711 in a silver class. He is in, no, apologies, in pro class. He is in 13th place overall. And then we started with the podium in silver class, 300 Jonesemis for GMR Motorsport, 12th place for the Mustang, which then becomes second in class, or 11th overall, after the Bentley for Fly Racing is into the pits. Then 119 Slow Racing Super Pro Maxi Sports in 10th place, so top 10 for them at the moment. Pascal Giroux in the number 5 Homo Sim Racing Esports. Linus Lukashen for Medcap Racing in the 311 Bentley, leading in silver class, in 8th place overall. Eduardo Ruggero there in 7th place, number 58 Rajoli Esports. 2 laps behind Lukasz Buszak for Dynamic Motorsport by Kalinic 111. Simotech Automation, top 5 for them at the moment, for Capo driving the car at the moment. Max Frank, Team Nitro, 4th place for the 718 Porsche. Then the podium, Justin Tuborauch, LFM Esports, 258 in 3rd. Kevin Brown for CMRC Endurance by Barminia in 2nd place. 8.5 seconds behind Aidan Walsingham in a 39 Jardia Community Team, leading the race overall with not a lot of gap, as Brown is only 8 seconds behind. We are just now into the final hour of the race. The situation in the entirety of the field is still the same. So you can go here to the leader in AM class. So yeah, Tristan, the classes are actually important for who is in the classes. So that will probably be I think they care about their position on track, considering that they are divided into classes and they are effectively fighting for positions in classes, because not only the overall position is important, but also the class position is very important. For example, turn 1, the turn 1 team earlier on commented that they are pretty happy with their performance leading the class. So I think it's also nice touch to mention that they are in a certain position in class, but also their position overall, and it's pretty easy to be seen in the bottom right part of the screen, since that position is the overall one always, and I'm only mentioning the class position for commentary purposes, as Okawa is battling for the podium, speaking of which, in AM class, as carrying 39th place. As a Japanese driver, Rin Okawa. Oh, there is a oh, something happened. Well, something happened to 333. Showing yellow flags. We can have a look at what happened to them in Blanchimont. So this was Pulse Racing. I'm seeing the McLaren going side by side with them. Was there a contact? So they go side by side. Oh yes, there was a contact! Ooh! Big shunt into the wall. Oh, that was a big one. That was a massive one for the 333. I would like to see it again, but this time from the... Oh, this is... Okay, the replay didn't work. We can quickly find the triple... Okay, no, never mind. Okay, we will not see the replay again. Not sure why it didn't go for replay, but it was a huge chance for the 333. Into the barriers in Blanchimont after a contact with a McLaren, and that would also be damaging your wrists as if you have a direct drive, you don't really want to keep your hands on the wheel in that moment. In the meantime, Okawa, 39th place at the moment, number 11 just in front in 48th place overall. As Aaron Gande, 18.7 in last lap, 18.4 for the Japanese driver. Still behind and closely looking in front. Yeah, that was a major one. I really don't want to be in that car anymore after a shunt like that. And that happened in the, in a, let's say, protected environment. These kind of incidents also happen in real life. That's why there are all grade 1 safe measures in place here at Spa. But endurance racing doesn't always go in grade 1 rated racing surfaces. For example, Nordschleife, it can't be with all the money in the world, it can't be a grade 1 track, and yet that's one of the places where endurance happens nearly on a weekly basis on the spring and summer months. Meanwhile, Okawa can have a chance here as we go side by side. Oh, never mind, as he goes side by side. Yes, he does go side by side. A little contact between the 262 and the BMW, and that's the Japanese driver gaining the place on Gardner in the car number 11. So he lost the place for Korn Racing. We can have a look at what happened with the replay. That's the overtake from the Helicam. So already preparing the overtake. Rinokawa. Little mistake for the BMW team, which then lost the inside line at the very end of the bus stop. And that was the pass for position and for the podium for Okawa in IM class. 48th overall for them. As we go with Jens Libu battling for 44th with Sakasi, the Hungarian driver. Not sure if he will defend or not. But also there is the battle for 23rd, which is... Oh yeah, apologies, this is... Okay, no, never mind, yes. There's the battle for 23rd between Freund and Molnar. And remember that the Lamborghini here has been heavily damaged early on because of an incident in Rouge Lyon, where they hit the wall on the left part of the racetrack after losing the rear, avoiding to hit the right part of the barriers, spun in the middle of the racetrack and hit the barriers with the left barriers, damaging the right part of the racing car though, because they were spinning, so they were actually backwards when damaging the car. Last lap it was a 19.0. They are possibly losing a second per lap. I'm not really sure if not pitting was a good idea for them, maybe because they will have to repair the car. Also, look at the timer, 48 minutes to go. So this means that every team that goes into the pits from now on will end their race without another pit stop. And that's important. That's extremely important for these teams. Because that's now the strategy coming together. 24-hour strategy coming together for this single moment. Now 1 second between Freund and Molnar. Also, I kept an eye on the battle for the lead. Brown lost second since the stint started, as Brown lost the 6 seconds only gap. He came back on the racing service with 7, and now it's about 9. So actually it's 2 seconds being lost in stint for Brown. There's also the battle for 15th. As you can see here, Daniel Castellana not really defending against Vol. So Andras Molnar, that keeps racing. Can the 79 approach the number 84? Wait. I lost a car. I'll be honest, I think I lost a car, yes, because Freund is now into the pits, that's why I got confused. So Freund into the pits as early as it can get. So the battle is between Buscher and Tepper. Tepper driving in the 199. Oh, there was an incident between Strider Motorsport and Red Caps Racing in lap 467. So a lot of time ago. It's number 24, so we'll see if any consequence will be applied to either of those teams, as Brown just gained 2 seconds on Walsingham all of a sudden. It was a 19.1 for Walsingham, that's why they lost 2 seconds in the last lap. The gap is now 7 seconds. As Tepper goes into the pits. So as I said, now it's the time of answers, because every single team will have to pit in this time slot. 48 minutes stint and 44 minutes to go, and the battle for the lead is not over, because look at that, Brown is still there. Brown is just behind and not really failing to provide a good spectacle, because Kevin Brown's last lap was a 17.5, it was another 19.1 for Walsingham. He's actually going slow all on his own, because even this lap is a very slow one. I'm looking at the delta time. This could be another second being lost for Aidan Walsingham. Unfortunately, he's also stuck behind a couple of cars, but he lost another second, because look at the delta time. Well, you can't see it, obviously. So that's still, yeah, nearly an 18 for Walsingham. 17.2 for Brown. So more time being lost for the car number 39. And I'm looking at the gaps. There are a lot of 2 seconds gaps around, scattered on, well, not 2, but at least about 3 to 5, which in 40 minutes are anything but impossible to recover. Ultimately, I think this is one of the major battles on track, although there is also the one for 9th place overall. The car 300, the John Zimis is in 9th at the moment, and they just lost another 7 attempts on Christian Nesmian in 10th place, just behind, 4 seconds behind. You can see on the tower Also, there are only 2 seconds between Gadowski and Hanke. So that will be also important towards the end of the stint. Now, can Jardia Community Team reach the win, or will it be Simmercy by Barminia to clinch into the win? Instead of going from last to first. Now in the middle of the pack in Blanchimont, this could be actually pretty beneficial because I think the car is going flat out here and it's also receiving some slipstream, helping the Aston Martin team receive some more. Okay, yeah, that was a dive. That was a dive into the inside. That was a very nervous dive. As Walsingham is now into the pits, so he goes into the pits for the final time of the race. Another strategy that comes to my mind is that some teams may go for only fuel. It's 20-second time penalty. Unsafe rejoin and causing a collision for 333 against Simotech Automation. It's a big one. Wonder if I have it on the replay. It was a lot of laps ago. I don't think I have it, unfortunately. I definitely don't have it. There was an incident between the car number 23, another car. This one was very recent. So it was Michael Sanks in 27th place, colliding with a Porsche behind, or maybe it was the other way around. Oh, that was a huge shunt onto the side. Yeah, that was a good hit between the two racing cars in La Source. As we go back in 10th place to see the battle for position. Between Jansimis and Nesbian, 3 seconds now. So it's a bit. The gap has extended a tiny bit here. As Wolfgang is now back on the racing surface, a full stop for them. So the idea of going for fuel only, as I was saying earlier, maybe it's too early. Maybe it's just too early, because I suspect some teams may go for a last stop by putting only fuel and keeping the tires, the old tires on. It's possible. We saw it in LFM last week in Spa, and it is possible to go on with an old set of tires for about 70 to 80 minutes. If you are really cautious, even 90 minutes, but that's maybe a bit too far. Sanke is now back on the racing surface. Tomanke here, 15th place for Suk Racing. And by looking at Brown going long on the stint, I'm starting to think that this could be their tactic. Because it doesn't make any sense to go long now. Or they are going long to then change tires, to have fresher tires, to go full in for the last half an hour. That will be also an idea. That makes the overcut work. Technically speaking, it has tense, considering there was a gap of 7 seconds, so at this point, just go for it. At worst, you arrive second. At best, you arrive first. Actually, going for the overcut is a better idea than the undercut here. But I'm not sure if they're going to change tires or they will keep the same one on as maybe for Ragnation Endurance. 17th place at the moment for this team, driving through the pits. If I remember correctly, not long ago they were already in the pits. I wonder if this is a drive-through. So there was a drive-through for the number 4. The number 4, which is in... I have to find them. I clearly lost the number 4. I know it exists somewhere. So now we go back here with the number 5. Okay, number 4 is in 48th place. They received a drive-through just moments ago. As Nismian's last lap was a 17.4, only 2.5 seconds behind John Smith, 9th place, as Max Frank is going into the pits. So Team Leader goes for the last pit stop of the race. Top 2 still on track. The German driver for CMRC still having a good time here into no name with all tires, and last lap was a 17.4, so actually it's not that bad. But importantly, Aidan Walsingham behind is going to set the time here. $17.2. So they just lost 2 times, and there is a crash in the bus stop. Someone is stopped on the track at the bus stop. I don't know which car it was. Not this one. So they are in the 666, just exiting the pits. As Frank is possibly just an off track, because I don't see any incident on the race control. So only 2 seconds, as I was saying, between 10th and 9th place, with only 33 minutes to go. As we are approaching the final moment, as Joseph is now into the pits. An Axman in the Nissan GTR, which is let's see if crash. I know, but unfortunately, okay, if you say that there was a crash, then I'd like to see. Okay, I have a number, so maybe I can work with that. Let me try this one. So, not here. Unfortunately, race control is not helping it, because I have to find it literally manually. Maybe to somehow hope to find it. Let me just try with this one, because I see 2 cars having the same yellow flag at the same moment. So this could be the moment. Please tell me it is. Or maybe it is. Okay, there are several cars. So this is the place. Because I sure think this is the place where it happened. This was in the bus stop. I don't see any car getting involved. I know I'm trying to find okay, no, I just don't know where it is, the incident, unfortunately. I know it happened because I could see it on the minimap. But if I don't know the number, I cannot know where the replay also lands. There are just a lot of cars on the racing surface, and unfortunately I cannot see all the numbers from here. It was... I know the timing, but I don't know the number of the cars getting involved, so that's the main issue. If I don't know the number, I cannot put the replay on the cars. So even by going on the correct moment, I don't know where to see. That's the main issue. As controller, unfortunately, there are a lot of cars, and sometimes certain incidents get flagged, but sometimes they don't. So if I don't know the number, I can go to the timestamp manually, but I don't know the number, so I don't know who to look at. Meanwhile, here Markin, and it was just in 7th place. He was behind Bushak. Now going into the pits. Actually, this was NFA between 256 and 176, by the way, in 7th place. United had a very good race so far. Now they are in 7th place, and ultimately they really can't get any more than this. They can still lose it, obviously, but I think gaining the position on Bushak, who is 2 laps ahead, it's a pretty hard task. At least that. The Walsingham is still in 3rd, and Kevin Brown still hasn't pitted, and the same goes to Tubarak. So probably there is a strategy here, because they are going very long, and we are getting to the point where even if you have the fresher tires, they don't give enough speed per laps. Like, there isn't enough time for the tires to give all the potential. There is so little time left as we get into the 28 minutes to go. Bushak and Poe both in the pits. So I'm really starting to think that Brown and Stuberach are actually going for the long game, as in not changing tires and going with the same set of tires, which will be a very dangerous one if you are not sure about it, because if you push too hard during your stint, you ruin your tires completely, and if you ruin them too much, you risk a puncture. You really risk a puncture, because these tires can go very, very long on a stint, but after a while they can get you a puncture if they get warmed up too much. Meanwhile, a 5-second penalty to Rookie Racing Motorsport 101 for ignoring blue flags and causing a collision with car number 28. So 101 received a penalty. Car number 101, which is in trying to find them. Find 100, but I can't find 101. Ah, yeah, they are in 47th place. So they receive a 5-second penalty because they ignore the blue flag. So that's what happens when you just ignore blue flags. When you think that you have track position, so you can dictate the pace. The answer is no. You get slammed with a penalty. Tom Hanke is only 2.5 seconds behind Castellana for Canonix Racing in the Lamborghini Huracan Evo 2. This will be for 14th place overall. Last lap was at 18.5 for Castellana, 18.1 for Hanke. This could be the shorter gap at the moment on the racing surface, and there's a car stopped on the Riviera. I think that is a car stopped. Yes, it's a car number 33, but I think it's in the pits. Yes, it is in the pits, matter of fact. I'm like trying to spot for every yellow flag that isn't a pit stop. Unfortunately, the majority of the times it is a pit stop. NFA between 94 and 228 for an incident between them in lap 471, so about 30 laps ago. And I really hope the penalties will be less and less as the time progresses, because if there are major penalties after the race ended, that could put in jeopardy the race results. Tom Hanke now, only 1.2 seconds. The Canonix racing car is not really having a good time at the moment, losing chunks of time as the time goes on. And by the way, for the 257, it was a 25 seconds pit stop for damage repair, so their Lamborghini was hurt massively. And they are now in 26th place, 4 seconds behind Meckenberg. And I'm still looking at the top of the standings. Brown and Stubberach still out. They haven't pitted yet. Now Hanke just behind Castellana into the Camel Straight. Can this be the overtake for position for Hanke in the car number 9? Against Castellana in the Lamborghini. Last lap it was an 18.0 for Hanke, 19.8 for Castellana. So disaster of a lap for them. Unless they still have to pit, that would explain their pace at the moment. Pace which is not hurt from Brown and Stubberach, still lapping into the 17th as Castellana goes extremely wide to probably let Hanke pass by. And that's the position done for Hanke in Aston Martin. So I said Brown in Aston Martin. Oh, 10-second penalty for car number 35. The incident with car number 2. So there was a drive-through for the car number 35 just moments ago for track limits. With only 22 minutes to go. Car in 59th place received a drive-through. And with 22 minutes to go, still no pit stop for Brown and Stubberach. They will have to pit, pretty sure about that. So looking at the gaps, it's a good fight for 57th place. Look at this. Because as it stands, both Monsterman, Gunter and Okawa are battling for 37th place overall, which means second in class. Unfortunately, after the pits, Okawa lost a place on Gunter, and Okawa finds himself back here behind Gunter. And this, remind you, this is the battle for 39th, for 47th overall, technically. But Kevin 49th is also battling for a class position. As the different number plates mean different classes. Now into the outside, can the Japanese driver get the upper hand on the number 11? This time, defending the inside and not falling for the cutback as earlier on in the bus stop. Into the Camel, there is a blue flag though, so they have to give the way. There was a penalty will be applied to the name. Oh, little jump on the bus stop, but this could be on the bus stop, on the Eruja Rion, but this could be the overtake for position for Okawa after a very slow exit from the number 11 team, and Aaron Gardner lost the place on Okawa. There is contact between the two. Okawa cut the chicane into the comb and remains in the position. Yes, he does. He remains in the position. On the outside he goes. He probably thinks that he has been thrown into cutting the chicane, and probably he will justify his actions by saying that he didn't have the space, and probably Gunner will answer saying that he was ahead at the apex. No, okay. Maybe not, but he probably will say that he was leading the way in the turn. Probably that he was effectively having the position by simply being ahead of his opponent, as Wittig and Berndt 41st place for both of them. They are not battling in class, but they are battling overall, as also there has been an important pit stop as Brown finally went into the pits. Now, it's important to say, I think it happened. I think it was... oh wait, it was a drive-through? This can be. This can't be. It was a drive-through, but not for track limits. It was simply a drive-through. They didn't even refuel the car. Oh, this is massive. I think Brown... I really think that Brown can win this race for CMRC by Armenia. I didn't think about this. I thought about the fact that they had to maybe remain on the same stint of tires. I didn't think about not pitting at all. So they went for a drive-through. It counts anyway because your stint timer has to be checked by going into the pits, but not stopping into the pits. You just have to go through the pits, and that's okay. And now Kevin Brown is in second place on track, but he's leading the race technically because Stavarok still has to pit, and I think Stavarok will do the same. So this could be actually third place for Walsingham if they are not quick enough. 16.8, so definitely they can't get to Brown unless Brown has a drop-off, a major drop-off. They have to lose roughly a second per minute, so 2 seconds per lap. They have to go to the 19s, and even more to lose the position on Walsingham. But Stavarok is now into the pits. Will he go through the pits, or will he stop for fuel? This could be major for the podium, because remember, they were fighting for the win. Then they received a drive-through for an incident, and now Stavarok is back into the pits, and maybe battling with Walsingham once more, but this time for a second place, as Brown may have jumped everyone. Important strategy by CMRC, completely taking by surprise even me. Usually, I expect pretty much everything, but I didn't expect this one. So Will Stuberock, Peter, I'd like to see their position. So they're going in the fast lane. I don't think they will pit. Yeah, they're not really heading for the pit. I can see some. Okay, no, they are not. They're going for the drive-through. Yeah, Chris, obviously. I'm up for it. And Walsingham is chasing second place. Stuberock is now back on the racing surface. 1.5 seconds, 1 second. I think this will end pretty quickly. But that's the LFM car getting overtaken by Walsingham with fresher tires. So the gamble didn't work for Stuberock. And Stuberock is now in third. So effectively, Walsingham is in second. He is 20 seconds behind Kevin Brown. Remember, Kevin Brown didn't change tires, and he is on old tires. And he is on very short fuel. Walsingham, full service for them. So they have 20 seconds to gain in... I honestly don't think enough time, but maybe just enough. 15 minutes. It's very... Oh, there was a contact in the bus stop. I saw someone returning to the garage. Something happened to the car number 81. Adrian Pastrana for Top Racing TV. Oh, what was that? What was that? There was a car literally the other way around. Let me have a better look. From the onboard camera in the car number 81. I have to find back the car number 81 though. So look at this. They are going full speed here. And then there is a car. Oh, yeah, that's rough. That's right. I think it was in car number 22. I think it was car number 22. Let me see. Oh yeah, it was the RRT 57th. So what happened here in Rouge? In 57th place, car number 22. I think they lost the car completely. Oh, yeah, okay, we'll never know. Wait, actually, I can know. So let me try something. Aha! I managed it. So this is what happened. So they lost... Oh, yeah, they lost the rear completely. Then they were in the middle of the racetrack. Not many choices available. They went for... the outside. And I think that was not the best idea. Unfortunately, they collided with the Top Racing TV team. DQ. But I think they will be... DNFing anyway, because that was a huge shunt. They are now in 59th place. They were in a pretty difficult position though, as the car number 3 and Freund are battling for 25th place. With the Lamborghini back in action, fully repaired. So you can ride on board the front wing of Sven Mackenberg with a 1,000 years old Lexus RCF that still competes and still goes on, and in IMSA still wins. So clearly the car still works, although with 1,000 ways to let it be competitive. So as Chris said earlier, there's going to be a short interview with the winning teams after the race, with the winning teams in every class. So at the moment 76, 311 and 100. But Lucas front here is still going on. Into no name. Last lap it was an 18.7 for Beckenberg, 18.1 for Freund. We're starting at best of the capabilities of this car to bring it at least in the top 25. Walsingham is not gaining enough, by the way. I mean, it was to be expected. I forgot how to speak. It was to be expected. The gap is not short enough to make it in 15 minutes. And so Walsingham is probably bringing the car home with a low 17. No wonder they are probably just doing what is necessary to get the car in second. It was a great tactic by the CMRC Endurance to arrive at this point after 24 hours, and the last stop, ironically, they didn't stop. So basically, the race has obviously a day-night cycle, and yes, the night is really happening. It's 1 o'clock in game and in real life. So it was nighttime like about 11, at least 13 hours ago. It was nighttime, so yeah, a bit late for that, unfortunately for you, but good news. The part 2 has the nighttime, so if you want to have a look at it, go check the part 2. It's already on, and you can just check instantly how is it, how it was. And the situation still goes on here into Bruxelles between the LFM team and the Lexus number 3. Now just in front of Ford Mustang. You can see the Lexus trying to take advantage of the blue flag by using it as a shield, but the Lamborghini just made it in front easily. As there is also the battle for 11th. Lafazetta and Kodowski and Schumacher are one after the other in 11th place after the pits. As Kodowski just went into the pit for the final time. Now this could be the moment for Lucas Freund to get the position on the car number 3. Into Blachimon they go, full throttle. The Lexus having a better time considering the Lamborghini had the trouble of being in dirty air. But HWR Racing still leads in front of the rival. Last lap 18.2 for Buescher, apologies, 19.2 for Meckenberg and 19.5 for Freund. Into the 19s, so pretty difficult for them to maintain a pace quick enough as their personal best. They're clearly racing to one to defend the position, the other to attack the position. Six minutes to go, and unless something major, like a catastrophe, happens to Brown, I can safely say that CMRC is going to win this race. For now, 16 seconds. Everything can still happen. And remember that a certain team in a certain French track at a certain 24-hour lost the win with 4 minutes to go. So never say never in endurance racing. Something may go wrong at the very last seconds, or minutes rather. Still, incidents are under review at lap 5:05. There are still incidents getting reviewed from 20 laps ago. So maybe the final classification will not be the very final. Oh, where is the Lamborghini going? Freon using every single part of the racing surface, including the service area, to get the best possible exit. Autostavelo into Blanchimont. At 2:57, with a lap being deleted, but at this point I really think that they don't really care about track limits. They probably have enough jokers that can be used in these last moments to gain every single 10th available. Cutting the bus. That was a bit too much though. They're completely cutting the bus stop and now slowing down. They didn't even try to make the bus, the Rouge de Lyon, apologies. They didn't even try to make the Rouge de Lyon, they just went straight. That was probably a track limit, whether they slow down or not. They are really trying to take an advantage out of this battle by any means and by any method available, as it's also the battle for 11th up front, as Gadowski and Schumacher both battling for position number 10. Oh, number 11, apologies, number 11. Gadowski and Schumacher just behind. Into the camel straight they go. I don't think the gap is short enough. As also Markovkin and Nesbian both in the pits with 3 minutes to go. I don't think it's a drive-through. Like a penalty. It's a drive-through in that regard, but both Markovkin in the 58 and Nesbian in number 5, both in the pits. The very final moments of the race. So it was a drive-through for Markovkin to avoid the stop. Meanwhile here, Gadowski losing the grip into Pujon, maybe even the position on Schumacher, who is trying to take the position on the outside, and he does so into Campos. He takes 11th with 2 minutes to go, with a very nice run onto the outside, and a major breakthrough here because Meckenberg is into the pits. So still, a bunch of cars going into the pits with literally minutes to spare, so probably someone made a blunder in the strategy room because Meckenberg is now into the pits and they are losing places as the time goes on. It's only 2 minutes to go. Huge one here, as Nesbian is back on track, as he didn't lose a position on Junsemis. It was a drive-through even for them, but in both occasions it wasn't a drive-through for a penalty, so for track limits. It was just a drive-through to reset the stint timer. 1 minute and 30 seconds to go. So this is the second to last lap. And also Schumacher is into the pits. Whoa, that's a major one for Red Fly Racing. Into the pits, but they are third in class. So that's also important. Will Stubbing be close enough? So there is an opportunity for Stubbing to make it into third in class. As Yannick Schumacher is into the pits. And Dynamic Motorsport in the 112 is still in stable. So there is a chance. So 1 minute it is a lot, and I think Schumacher is already halfway through the pits. Not even half through, he's actually at the very tail end of the pits. So I think Schumacher will at least keep third place, but he is now in 14th place overall. White flag brought to you by LFM, and this is the last time. This is the last lap of the 24-hour of Spa-Francorchamps, brought to you by LFM and 505 Racing, 505 Games, as the race comes to an end in this lap 508 into Rouge-Gratillon, then into the Camel Straight. Speed up to 260 km per hour since it's uphill. Then braking just before the curb on the left side, cutting the first curb, the second curb into the comb, and then the third one with a very wide exit. Then into Bruxelles, the hairpin. Braking into second, maybe first. No, he doesn't go into first. Certain cars can go into first to have better rotation. And then into No Name, or Jack X now. Puon is next. Braking on the red marking on the right into fourth gear. 170 km per hour, and then flat out on exit over the curb. Braking just under the billboard here from Total Energies. First curb, a little touch on the first curb of campus. Using all of the AstroTurf from the outside, nearly going into the gravel, and then into Stavelo. Double right corner. This one is taken flat out if the line is perfect. And then one of the most famous corners in the world, a Blanchimont, flat out here on the left-hander, without tires, without fuel, but this is Steamer C Endurance by Barminia, winning the 24-hour of Spa-Francorchamps, brought to you by LFM and 505 Games, after 24 hours and 508 laps. Lucas Rode, Sebastian Zenner, Kevin Brown and Thomas Reeder won the race. The number 76 as Strege is about to do the same in silver class for Madcap Racing, as unfortunately Walsingham in the 39 Jardy Community Team and Stu Murauk in the 258 LFM couldn't get the win. Strategy achievement for car number 76 that made a perfect strategy by not pitting at all in the last stop, by simply going through the pits. And this is Madcap Racing in the car number 311 Bentley, with Lasse Strage driving it right now, with Linus Lukasen, Thomas Jansch, Dennis Adler and Oliver Bolbron winning the race in silver class in front of the number 300 with June Smith and Schumacher in the 789 still keeping the third place in class. And then we've got turn 1 still in the middle of the pack, literally in the middle of the pack, but he is cool with it because the number 31 and 262 completed the race, so they will win regardless they will finish the race or not at this point. But James Lebo for turn 1 car number 100 with the help of Silvius Lama, Alex Hertz, Alisa Pelletier Sharpe, 4 drivers team, and as they approach the bus stop, chicane, that's the win in IM class for the BMW lineup. Just going over the line, through the checkered flag, and that's P1 for them. Good job, guys. And these were the winners in all classes, as the 47 is the last lap that will complete the race in the 47 racing. So this was the race. Let me just go through. I need the OBS, otherwise it's a bit of a struggle. So this was the race. Certain penalties are still going on, but I have 509 laps. 508. Well, theoretically 508, but 509 completed. Car number 76 wins the race in front of the Jardier community team, composed by Jaroslav Onzik, Valentin Barrier, Haydan Walsingham, and Maciej Malinowski, and the 258 LFM team, composed by Sascha Wagner, Justin Stuberak, Lukas Jackenburger, Andrei Ipov, and Karl Neithart. Third place for them. Now, as I said earlier, there are the interviews for the winning teams. Unfortunately, certain teams don't have correct name, so I will just take a little bit of time. Let me just do something important. I'd like to go through the replay and to pick our AM class winners. Let me just go here to the 100. Let me just pause everything up. And let me just go into OBS, because I think the results are on. Maybe. We probably just have to wait a tiny bit. So the results will take a bit of time. So let me go into these as we go for the interviews with the winning teams. We will start with turn 1 and the number 100 that won the race in IM class. Just go quickly here, so the results are not on yet. So we'll take chance Divo, the commentary room. Let me just be sure who I pick. There are a lot of drivers. So here you are, Lisa Pelletier, and and I'm missing someone, because either they are not here or they have a Discord name, so you have to tell me. Ah, okay, he cannot be present, alright. So guys, welcome to the commentary room, and well, first of all, good job for the win in IM category, and in the Canada 100. After 24 hours, you made it through. And how was the race for you in the IM category, considering you were technically the bottom third of the classes, but yet you were, I wouldn't say in the middle, but a good chunk forward in the middle of the silver class. So how was it to battle with silver class cars for you all?
Well, the thing is that we didn't really focus on battling with the silver cars. We just had a lot of issues, and it's absolutely incredible that we got to even take the win. It's crazy. We at one point there was like this huge crash in Apo Rouge, and we were like, 8 hours left in the race, and we were like, GG, we might as well retire the car, but we somehow pulled through.
So apparently you were so strong that they had to literally crash your car, and yet you didn't lose confidence. You still won the race, and you certainly made a great appearance for your team. And after 24 hours, how tired are you? Honestly, like really speaking, how tired are you all after all these hours?
I'm sorry, those two have slept. Those two have
Okay.
slept. I haven't slept since when I went to bed Friday.
So someone has to justify themselves, I suppose. So only one is tired of you. Okay, never mind. How is it after 24 hours being awake?
Surprisingly normal. I mean, had like 5 coffees and about 6 dozen heart attacks watching these two maniacs drive.
It's all for health. It's all for health, I think, at this point. So yeah, the hallucination will just start. Just wait a tiny bit after sleep deprivation. So obviously, congratulations for the win, and well, honestly, great race. How was the BMW for you? Because honestly, the BMW wasn't a highly picked car. So this, as a last question, I would like to ask you, how was driving the BMW here in a field of, well, any other car, Aston Martin, Ferrari, Ford? Very few cars were a BMW.
I think Jens can talk about this one.
So personally, for me, the BMW isn't my car. I would have much rather had a Ford, Aston, Ferrari, something like that. But yeah, the car changed over the night in qualifying. I really wasn't looking forward to the race. It was terrible in qualifying. In the race, we changed a few things, and the car was a bit better, but still not really the car I would pick next time.
Yeah, usually the BMW is likely because it's stable, but it's not really likely because it's not really responsive. Let's put it that way. I personally am on the same boat. I don't really like the BMW.
Yeah, our biggest issue was understeer out of the
Yeah.
fast corners.
That happens.
In other words, a lifeless brick.
What, sorry?
A lifeless brick, in other words, is how it felt.
Okay. Perfect. So yeah, once more, congratulations, guys, and have fun with the win. Enjoy your afternoon or sleep for Alisa, in this case. And well, congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
So those were the turn 1 lineup. Well, 4 of them. So we go back into the results to see if they are on. Which I don't think they are. But in the meantime, I will use the time to get into our winners in silver class, the 311 Madcap Racing. We just have to go here. Ta-ta-ta. Yes, the ta-ta-ta was needed, trust me. So you have to pick everyone through. Oh, this is a nice shot into the bus stop. So this will work out. Obviously, if you have any question for the winning overall team, you can write them in chat now, as we now go into our second team out of 3, the Madcap Racing with Lukashen, Jansch, Adler and Bovron. We just pick them up. I think it's all of you.
Yeah,
Okay, you're just the 2 of you. So, first of all, congratulations for the silver class win in the Bentley. So, as I like it called, the brick. And usually it's not really a highly popular choice. It was in the early days, now it's a bit less. And how was it drive? How was it to drive the Bentley into a win in silver class, even if you were practically in the middle of the pro class? So it's a bit unfair to just say that you were only winning in silver class. You were 7th overall, so a pretty nice achievement, even that. But how was the drive? How was the handling of the car, the management of the car, since it changed in all of these months?
I think it was actually pretty good. Our teammate Lasse cooked a really nice setup there. Although it was for me personally, like I had only like 4 laps of practice before the race, so it was more like a learning experience in the race itself. And what I also heard from the night shift was that the tires were pretty cool in the night, and we couldn't get them to the right temperature. So I think in the night it was a bit more tricky for us, but I don't know that fully because I didn't drive in the night. But in general, it was pretty good, I think, from the driving experience.
And how was it to battle against the pro category? Were you more lenient, maybe less defensive, or were you battling for practically an overall position rather than only the silver class position?
I think we wanted to maximize the overall position, and I think we were like expecting to be in the front or like at least on the podium on silver class. So we didn't really have a concern for that. But yeah, like I said, as it was a learning experience, so I think we are quite pleased.
And last question, this is a question for all the teams. How is it after 24 hours of racing? How tired are you? How, let's say, tired is your brain?
I think it's actually quite good, but I think that's only because I got a really nice sleeping schedule, so I could sleep
So another person here that that sleeps here, eh? The cheating, the cheating one here, I see.
We both are the 2 guys who got the best sleep schedule.
That's why the other 2 are not here. Okay, nice.
Yeah, that's the reason. Yeah, but I think it's pretty okay. I think one of the guys from the night shift is still with us in the Discord and is playing some other games, so it can't be that bad. But I think in the end we're really pleased to get a shower after the interview.
I like that. I think it's not that bad. Like maybe he's still alright. Who knows? So jokes aside, congratulations for the win. It was a massive achievement for you, even because you were, as I said, battling in the pro category. And enjoy the win. Enjoy the after race party, I guess, for the class win. And I hope to see you around in LFM in the upcoming weeks, months, races, and championships.
Yeah, thanks, man, for streaming.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. So this was Madcap Racing, 7th place overall, and now we get to the main dish. So we go first here because I want to see if there is a server error. Okay, that's not what I expected to see. I will try to refresh, but in the meantime, I will go on to take the interview to Simmercy by Barminia, because they made an incredible strategy and it worked out perfectly. So this one could camera angle, yes it is. Let's take it out to OBS live and get our pro and overall winners in the interview room. Welcome here, and first of all, congratulations for the overall win. It was honestly an insane strategy call to get to the end without a stop. And as a first question, I'd like to ask you, how was the race, first of all? How was the 24 hour for you all?
was a huge roller coaster, I guess. So I mean, after the first start, we had some troubles. We got spun by Cardio and lost a lot of places then, and we had a lot of damage. And then Kevin threw the car into the wall at Radio, and we were like 2 laps down. And up until then, up until the server restart, we were all quite down, I guess. And then our blessings were heard, and there was the server crash, and then we were like, okay, game is on. We're starting from P56 or something, but we were in the same lap again, so that was a huge relief for us, and we knew, okay, we can get back into the top 10, but that it's first place at the end, starting from P56, that was not realistic, and that's quite a surprise for us as well.
Yeah, I mentioned during the stream that you were effectively last on track at the very first moments of the race, and then after the red flag, you basically turned the table around, literally shuffled all the cards and threw away everything, and then you ended up by winning the race after 24 hours. That was a massive achievement, and I'd like to get in a bit inside your strategy room. How did the tactic work out? In a sense that was it developed from the very early stages? Was it following a perfected plan, or was it just a last minute? Okay, we do this. At worst, it doesn't work. At best, we win.
Strategy was actually pretty straightforward. We just tried to max out the stint timer every stint, so yeah, get as close to the 48 minutes as possible. And yeah, in the end, we had 1 hour and 6 minutes or so left, so we decided to put max fuel into the tank and go for a DT in the end. And I guess that was the right decision in the end.
So
we felt also like 3 hours before the end, I guess the Cardio's team decided to shorten their stints, but then they have like 1 more fresh tire available. But at that time they were like, I don't know, 5 seconds in front of us or something. We were like, is that really realistic that then they have to do an extra change of tires, which costs 30 seconds, which we don't have to do? And we already were questioning the decision back then, like 2.5 to 3 hours before the end. And yeah, in the end, we were right that their strategy call, because they only looked forward and were like, okay, we want to get Justin, we want to get P1, but they didn't have, I don't know, they didn't think about us, I guess. So they made that call, and in the end, it was a mistake.
No, it was obviously, I praised it in the stream. It was a wonderful call in the strategy room that brought you the win. And as a final question, I put the same question to all the teams, but how is it after 24 hours? How tired are you, and how challenging was it for the entirety of the race?
Well, I guess we had a special occasion this time because Sebastian only came back 3 a.m. in the morning from a wedding, so we had to do the first part of the race with 3 guys. And yeah, that skewed the plan a bit, but I guess we're experienced enough to just get it behind, and yeah, I think it was okay for us.
So there wasn't even the entire planning of the race. There was also a wedding in the middle.
Yes.
Okay, that's some important plan strategy in the middle of already difficult strategy plan that was enacted in that moment. So kudos to you that you worked out through every difficulty and every problem that you had, and that brought to you the win. So congratulations again after 24 hours, and well, enjoy the rest of the afternoon, because this is your win and you have to party for that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Also shout out to the guys in P3 that got a DT. That I feel like, I don't know, I guess I have to say it, we, the team, we don't agree with that penalty. Of course it brought us the win, but other without that penalty, without the drive-through, the win was not possible in the last few hours. So shout out to them. They also drove an amazing race. And I guess also Khadia's team, of course, they also drove an amazing race. So congratulations to everyone that finished and the guys on the podium.
Thank
And
you. Nice
shout
one.
out to LFM for hosting the event.
No, it's a pleasure doing it. Absolutely a pleasure doing these events, especially with all the teams that compete in the international stage. It's always a wonderful experience from my perspective. So yeah,
It's
congratulations
really
again.
fun. Thank you.
And everyone, a nice Sunday.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye. And they were the CMRC Endurance by Barminia that won the race after 24 hours and 509 laps. As we can maybe go into, let's see if this works now. No, it timed it out. Oh, why are you like this? Not now. Wasn't the moment. Let's try to see if I can. I don't know how can I resolve it, but I will try my best. Just to be sure, I want to see if the link is correct, but the link is correct. I'm pretty sure about that. This should be correct. Now this was a 24-hour in the making, a great race that brought us a lot of action, a lot of overtakes, and realistically speaking, it was very close until the very end of the race. So this is, let's see, just to be certain, everything is correct. Please. Let me just do something that always works. So Ctrl Alt Delete, as they say, and transword. So just refreshing. No, it doesn't work. So unfortunately, I will just tell you the podium positions by. Yeah, no, Chris, it doesn't work. It keeps on this board. I already tried it. Maybe now it works again. Let's need to refresh maybe. Okay, just refreshing it worked. Okay, I don't think I don't know what worked. But it worked. CMRC Endurance by Barminia in front of JDA Community, LFM Esports, Team Nitro, and Simutech Automation in top 5. And you can see Dynamic, Medcap, Raggioli Esports, Almost in Racing, and I didn't pick it up in 10th place. Can you just refresh? So I can get it quicker. General Motorsport in the car number 300 for Mustang, then Slow Racing, Super Pro Max Esports, Fisher Racing Esports, Psuk Esports, Black Sheep Racing, Cryonics Racing in the top 15. Don't have a look at the points since it's just a one-off, this one here. Dynamic Motorsport then also in 16th place. Rag Nation Endurance with Low Fuel Motorsport, Speed Stars, CMRC Endurance by Barminia, the sister team in 20th. Pit Speed Racing, Alpha Racing Team, Red Caps, Low Fuel Motorsport in 24th, Eurobeat, HWR, MK Racing, Scuderia, JM Racing in 28th, and then all of the other teams that are now in the background with the win in AM class being brought to you by Turn 1 and the podium with No Skill, Just Luck and Kruger Racing in the Porsche. All the teams that participated, thank you very much to all the teams that put their name on the line for this wonderful event. Thank you to LFM that organized everything. Thank you to 505 Games that effectively gave us the opportunity to stream the race here in the official Assetto Corsa Competizione channel. And obviously thanks to all of my partners, to Olaf, to Ben, to Mike, to John, and to Tim that made the very early hours in the morning, but also to the German team, to Chris that was behind the scenes for the whole time, to Jonathan that made everything work out and to all the 78 teams that competed in the race. I was Cristiano Romano. This was the 24 Hours Spa-Francorchamps, and good afternoon to everybody, and I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful rest of the day, because the racing stage is only starting with the rest of the afternoon having 3 important races, and I will be sure to check all of them because it's the triple header of dreams for every motorsport fan. So have a wonderful Sunday, have a wonderful racing weekend,